listeners, this is the #1 Potato Boss, bringing you the MogPod Podcast Season 2.
Woo!
And now we're in video format. So technically it's a video.
Glorious Technicolor.
We're a video podcast now, apparently. This is episode 1 called The Frozen Lamp. This is the fully dedicated bi-weekly Final Fantasy TCG podcast. And for any new listeners, we just love talking about the game.
Yeah, basically.
That's pretty much it. Yeah. We have a lot of laughs. Sometimes we talk about the meta. We talk about spoilers, and just come and join us. Yeah. So I am the #1 Potato Boss, the resident Earth player, and to my right is Jared.
Hello.
The resident Fire player. To my left is Chris.
Hello.
The resident Ice player, and next to him is Kevin, the resident Water player. Say something, Kevin.
Zidane.
Yeah,
Yes,
that was
water card.
that was the first thing uttered when we first saw him.
I should
Anyway,
have said make a chocobo.
anyways,
We're a video podcast. Yeah.
yeah. So let's go on to our first segment, the card of the week.
All right.
And this card got spoiled just recently.
Did we just rip the segment name from?
Ah,
Because
well,
we don't
yeah.
do this every week. We do it bi-weekly.
Bi-weekly.
Yeah, bi-weekly.
Sure, yeah,
Out
yeah.
of the bi-week.
I'm pretty sure I've said that
Card
before.
of the fortnight.
Of the fortnight.
Yes.
Kevin, do you want to tell us what the card does?
Wow, this is a wall of text.
Yeah.
It's a 5-cost summon called Diabolos from Mobius Final Fantasy. It reads, select up to 2 of the following actions. Choose 1 forward of cost 5 or more, break it. Choose 1 forward of cost 4 or less until the end of the turn. Its power becomes 1,000. Activate all forwards you control. Activate all the backups you control.
It's a powerhouse.
It is.
Yeah,
Those are lots of words.
a lot of words, and it's very
Yes, very obvious. We're looking at the screen.
it's fine. Yeah. So pretty much it's very versatile, like Asura.
Yeah.
I
But
don't
like-
think so.
What do you
I
mean?
think
Yeah, it's not versatile.
it's not
like,
versatile.
Why? Because you can activate your forwards and you can kill something.
Well, yes, but you
Like-
need to do 2 of these things.
You did it too. I guess so.
I
Yeah.
suppose the question is, how often do you think you're going to be able to do more than one of these actions? I mean, you're always going to be able to activate your backup, so it's at the very least, provided there's a forward under your opponent's control, you're going to
Do
be able to
something
shrink
with
it and
Yeah.
for free. I mean, for the cost
Yeah.
of the card in your hand.
Yeah.
But is that
So-
Yeah,
maximizing
is it
the
for
card?
free? Like, do you have 5 backups when you
Well,
casting it?
I'm thinking of the ideal scenario wherein you're casting.
It's
it,
quite.
so-
You need a lot to get all the value out of the card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems quite late game to me. Once you've
Yeah.
set
Yeah,
up,
it's a very
like,
late game card.
Yeah. Or if you're not using the backups part,
Yeah.
then it's like a really cheap Raiden or Baum. Like,
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah,
right?
in
Yeah,
that
yeah,
case,
yeah, yeah.
like,
It is.
assuming-
Killing 2 things.
yeah,
but
assuming
of
the
very
shrink actually
specific
kills it.
costs.
Assuming you have a Cactuar
Yeah.
and then, you know.
Yeah, or something.
Like,
Yeah.
it's actually pretty hard to get any value of this card. Like,
it's-
Really?
every line of text needs something to go with it.
Oh, right. Yeah.
5 or more is already a condition. That's kind of hard to fulfill nowadays.
Yeah.
4 or more.
For 4 or
setting
less.
it-
4 or less, yeah.
Setting it to 1,000, you need some follow-up damage or
Yeah, yeah.
be involved in combat to make use of that. Forwards you control, probably need to be playing against ice
Yeah.
for that to be useful. And activate all the backups, obviously you really want to be at 5
I mean,
backups.
like, worst case scenario, you can just attack with all your forwards, and then causes Diablos and activate your backups on all your forwards again,
I
like
guess
fake
you could,
brave.
yeah, just
You know,
discard a card and then have
Yeah,
everything
yeah,
active again.
that's the worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It occurs to me that this card sort of feels like the card for the mono wind control decks.
Oh yeah.
That like Edia was for mono lightning. That not really. What Sildra was for mono water. Like it fills a lot of the gaps and.
It
solves
is going
all
to
the
be a lot
problems.
scarier playing against wind now.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it is,
with
it
this
is.
card existing
And-
because
Yeah.
like you're like it's kind of like playing against Cyclops, right? In Lightning.
Ah,
Blowout card.
Suddenly, my guy's smaller now. So now you want to attack with your 5-drops first if you weren't already.
Yeah. I mean,
true.
like,
Or block with your 5-drops first.
typically you do that anyway, right?
It depends on
Yeah.
what they are.
I mean, like, you got Setzer, you block and attack with that first anyway, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is that the funny thing I wrote on Facebook was this is technically not an answer for Emperor either.
Yeah,
Like,
Wind
when-
still only has one card.
which is just Chaos Walker.
It can actually contribute to killing.
Yes,
the
it can.
Emperor.
It can,
Yeah.
but it's a
Diablo
little bit
shower
more
or
difficult,
something.
you know.
It helps, but it doesn't solve the problem on its own.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
Emperor already still turning off your Ishtola and your Cacti.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the
Yeah.
things you really
Valthyr.
want to be
Yeah.
finishing,
Valthyr, yeah.
them off with.
Like
Um,
Kevin said, the shower does.
shower.
Yes,
shower
Shower
does
is
the
amazing.
same.
Yeah. So when I first looked at this card, I was comparing it to if I had an Asura and if I had an Alexander in hand, and I wanted to cast both of them, like Asura to activate all your backups, and an Alexander to kill a 5-cost or more forward. And that together, if you looked at my
Here's the thing: if you wanted to do that, you probably want to do it the other way around. Azura first.
True.
And then
True.
Alexander?
But
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say is that the amount of CP that you use for these two cards, this one is way more efficient, and it only takes up one slot in your deck. So
Well,
that's why this card is good. It's like getting these two cards and only having one slot in your deck.
So if you look at like in other games, modal cards tend to be tremendously powerful. This is like with modal cards when they always provide you two outcomes, and powerful outcomes at that. They tend to define the decks that they're put into. I feel like this Diabolos wants to inhabit that kind of role. Like I'm thinking of like there's a cycle of cards called the commands in Magic the Gathering that are all not all of them saw lots of play, but the ones that did tended to really and still do tend to drive a lot of the decks to be built around them. And I get that same sense from this Diabolos.
I mean, like, it's definitely going to be played.
Yeah, it's gonna when I said before when we were talking about whether it's versatile or not, I was thinking like obviously the card itself with all its different things it could do is versatile. I meant in terms of the stage of the game that you can play it, like it's
And the states of boards.
yeah, and the states
Yeah.
of boards like that's sort of like because you can always choose like other options, but you probably won't get full optimal usage out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, usually when I'm thinking of this, I'm thinking of the activate all backups plus one other thing.
That's right. Yeah. That's
I have
definitely
a
right.
feeling
Yeah.
a lot of people will end up using it just
Yeah.
like that.
But killing two forwards seems really good too.
It
That's
does.
true.
It does. Yeah.
You just have to. It's. I suppose unless there's an Emperor in play, as a wind player, you should be able to make good on that deal, provided your opponent has something that you could otherwise Alexander. So.
I think that Final Fantasy TCG has been a little bit shy on 5-cost summons. Like there hasn't been really standout because of that lightning summoner.
Well,
they
and,
can
and
just
the
like
Earth Summoner.
the Earth Summoner can also cast it, but like the amount of value that you get from just tapping the Earth Lightning Summoner to just play it.
Well, back
and
in Opus 2, Chris had that deck with the
Valafor.
the Valafor.
you can put the Valafor and this one in a mill deck, and then you can like
Yeah, this is
keep
a
on milling
favorite
forever.
thing.
And
That's
like,
true, yeah.
The
Yeah.
good thing about
Forward
this
and
card
normal.
is
Yeah.
either it can generate resources and be a sink, so you can pay 5 and then get 5 back, or you can just leave 5 untapped. I mean, leave 5 dulled, and if you use 2 of its other effects, and then if you don't have anything else to cast, that would just give you a perfectly efficient turn.
Yeah,
As a
yeah.
wind player, that's sometimes.
So like, I always feel like the wind decks are just like these like old cars ever since like mono wind started appearing, and that people have slowly been putting newer and more expensive, more efficient pieces in. And it's starting to leave the driveway and like
Something-
drive down the road.
Something I think about when I see this card is I'm trying to think of a wind deck which wouldn't want it in the deck.
A mono wind deck or a wind deck?
Any wind, like wind decks.
like Wind X deck.
Yeah, wind decks, anything with wind in it.
I mean, like
where wind's a main.
I wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't really put this in my unblockable deck. Fire Wind unblockable.
Yeah.
It's a little too expensive. It's a little lower to the ground.
Activate all the backups. That's an additional Zemus.
Nah, I probably
If
don't.
it's
run Zeus
unblockable,
in
you're
that
probably
one.
running no
Yeah,
anyway.
no,
right?
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
true,
yeah.
so it doesn't really matter.
You just said what decks would you run it? I'm saying personally, I wouldn't
Yeah,
run it. in
yeah,
that one.
yeah.
one.
That's,
Right.
that,
Yeah.
I think that's a
So
exercise to think about how good it is.
A
right?
question
Like,
is then like, is this going to be as ubiquitous in wind as say Elcid is in lightning? As,
Oh no, I don't think so. I mean, like it's a strong card, definitely, but like not as.
kind of like
Not
Phoenix
to that
was
level.
when we were discussing it
Yeah,
2
yeah.
weeks ago. It's powerful, but you need.
I think it's more
needs to
powerful than
accommodate
Phoenix.
it.
I think it's more powerful than
I
Phoenix.
don't think you need to especially accommodate this card.
Yeah, no, you
No.
don't.
Because like, would you play a card that only had the first 2 lines and you had
Well,
like,
Yeah, if it was like
you-
choose one of the options.
yeah,
of
it's
those first
up to
2.
2. You don't have to select 2.
Yeah.
So
Oh right, yes, I noticed that.
Comparing
Yeah,
it to
I-
the Alexanders, like the 4 or even the 5-cost one, it's just paying 1 more for getting all this versatility.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it
But
does-
but you lose the X burst.
yeah, that really sucks.
I
Losing
think
X.
like
But just
what
with
this
which
lets you do is just replace all the conditional
Yeah.
win summons with something that's never terrible.
Yeah,
And this will probably just be the go-to win summon
And-
to put in your deck.
And now also Terra L can search for it just on the enter the field.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
it's
That's
5. It is
true.
5
Yeah,
or less. You should
yeah,
say
5 or
so,
less.
yeah.
So that's another
And
thing.
that's a very strong.
I
thing
like
to
that
search.
this Diabolos is a little more imposing than the previous one, which isn't to say that the previous one wasn't very
I wonder
powerful.
if part of Diabolos' identity is becoming activating backups.
Oh, yeah.
'Cause the other
Yeah.
one does that too.
Yeah.
Just it gives you
I'm
resources.
trying to remember because in 8 you get him from the magic lamp,
Yeah.
and he gives you a whole bunch of what I remember being very useful abilities. Like I can't. I think he gives you like one where you get like extra gil or something. So
Extra
Might
gil,
be.
extra backups.
I could just be entirely misremembering that, but
Yeah.
I think he gives you mug.
He gives you
I
mug.
think he gives you mug.
Ah,
Good synergy
Yeah,
with Riku.
so that would be
yeah.
well, yeah.
I mean, that's essentially what it is, right?
Yeah.
The other cards I was like comparing it to is Barbarisha and Porom.
Yeah,
Both
yeah,
of them
yeah.
do the same effects as
Yeah,
those
those
things,
are- those
but
are
those
the
are like
villains.
3 costs vanilla forwards on a thing plus the one extra cost for the extra thing. I don't know. It's another thing to think about. Yeah, I mean, I think we talked about enough about it. Don't you guys think? Or is there more?
It's not really a complicated card to use.
No.
Are there
not
any
really.
decks that you guys have on the go now that you think would drastically be improved by the addition of this Diabolos?
I mean,
don't know.
my only win deck at the moment. Actually, I've got 2 win decks. I've got the Cadets deck,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
which I mean, the thing is, the other Diabolos is also a late game card.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
You need to be set up to use it already. And I can get that back with Rem. And
And that's EX burst as well.
and EX Burst.
Yeah.
I think I'd still prefer that since I have Cadets. And then my other wind deck it's a Wind and Lightning deck that has like Hope and Lightning, and it's got that minor 13 theme.
Which
Yeah.
means it cares about card name Alexander's, which means
Yes, exactly right. Yeah.
Pushes us out.
So Hope
Yeah.
can find the appropriate Alexander, and I'm in Lightning, so I can kill the 4-drops. But I mean, the fact that this is all in one card, I mean, I'd try it out. It
Might be worth like
I feel
a slot
like
as like a one-of or something.
I
like
mean, I honestly don't know if this is
The-
really
the-
good or like hard to put in a deck.
The only decks. Sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
that. The only wind deck I've sort of got running at the moment is that Data Lumit deck.
Yes.
Which
Oh,
I
yeah.
suppose. I mean, I run Cactar, I run each
Oh,
color, I
yeah,
run
you can like
Shara.
reduce the power and then just like easily.
At the very least, that mode is going to
Yeah.
be worthwhile for me. But
No,
I'm not sure.
I think this definitely has a place in mono wind decks
Absolutely.
and any
I think
other
so, yeah.
variation of mono wind that might pop up, as well as mill decks. Like even like Earth Wind Mill, I would
yeah.
definitely run this.
And the other
you
thing
know?
with Mono Wind is, as Morgan has shown us, you can get to 5 backups in like 2 turns.
That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah, it's- yeah.
No, I think this is like.
So if you set up for that, like this can be really, really good.
We
Yeah.
often bring up that deck of Morgan's, but I think this is
Yeah.
probably going to be something that he'll slot right into it.
No, I think because it costs 5, he probably wouldn't.
I don't think he's going to run 3 or anything.
I don't think he's
But,
going to
like-
play it, but he should play it.
Yeah, that's how I get it.
It just seems to make sense. This is my point.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he should run that, and then with the legendary Terra, because that Terra can also search Shemazai. He always has really bad luck with Shemazai.
Well, I know some games you end up with them just sort of 3 turns in a row, and then you win the game.
Yeah.
And then other times they just never show up at all. So.
Yeah. So this is a very good card. I think we have to see what the rest of the cards are to really see the impact.
Yeah.
But the current decks right now is just like mono
We're-
wind and mill.
We're still really early in the spoiler season.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, that's
we've
true.
had
That's
small trickles of data, but
Have we talked about the activator forwards against ice?
Oh
Like,
yeah,
this is-
exactly.
this is
Yeah,
the
yeah,
thing
yeah. This
that
is the thing. Yeah,
like,
go ahead.
When if against wind is going to be terrifying now. Like knowing that they've got. Was it the last episode I was saying that the mass activation is the thing that
Like
Yeah.
Zidane.
But no,
Zidane,
and
right?
and
Yeah.
whatchamacallit?
Oh yeah, and
Focus bomb.
and
Porum
this is-
and Ilua, the lightning forward.
Oh, yeah, that's the new
Because
card.
the new
Which
card.
one?
So she can S and activate all their forwards and give them haste.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen that one.
you
Ah,
have-
yeah,
I
I
have?
think you have. Yeah,
You
yeah,
thought
yeah.
it might be a Dragoon card.
Oh, that's right. No,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought
yeah.
I might
Yeah.
want to put it in.
So like these cards are like mass activate all your forwards, like Ilua and this Diabolos. Just makes me think that Ice is gonna get a little tool, and I think we're
this
gonna.
is on a summon, and it's completely invisible to the ice.
That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
That's true. Yeah, yeah.
Really,
But-
really scary.
What if they discard their hand?
Coming soon.
We'll get to it later.
No, I was actually going to transition into the chapter cards in terms of like what kind of things was ice or lightning gonna have to kind of counteract this mass activation of forwards.
We were talking about this before. We don't think this necessarily means ice is going to get a tool.
Because ice
You
already
reckon?
has the tools to kill those things. They got Zalor.
No, not to
with
kill.
that.
Not to kill.
To dull.
Yeah,
Like,
like
and-
more mass dulling. Like,
Zalor does counter this as much as this counters Zalor.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about like, you
Whichever one
know,
on the
like
stand was-
At
Orin.
the same time, ice has the only unconditional counter a summon, right? Like on the Opus 1 ice summoner.
Unconditional, yeah.
Like all the other one, like there's the summoner from the last set in water
And
that
Cleon and the
and
summoner.
Cleon.
Yeah.
But ice is Cleon's unconditional, I suppose.
But it's
that's-
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's-
work
That's
around.
the
to play
most
around.
unconditional.
True.
yeah. But
Or indiscriminate, I guess.
yes, indiscriminate.
No, I mean like the reason why I was saying is that you got lots of dull, but you don't have like dull all your points forward except for Orin.
But as these guys say, like there's
Renoa.
lots.
Renoa as well, yeah.
There's lots of anti-summon already, so
Yeah.
you know, I don't think ice needs something more to like help.
there's
help
I think
this.
wind needs something.
Yeah.
I think wind needs
I think this is
likelihood
for
that
wind.
we'll
Ah, yeah.
probably get
It's-
something else anyway that interacts with summons in sort of a reactive way that isn't a summon.
Oh yeah.
Like as the game goes on, we'll get more and more cards like Cleon, like Summoner and Summoner.
And more
Yeah.
cards like Diabolos too.
Yeah, like that's just how we develop,
Yeah.
how we move forward.
I wanted to transition into the chapter cards. Pretty much in the card of the week on the Facebook page that we got this Diabolos from, the US Facebook page, the description said that from the Volker one that FF11 cards, there's going to be a lot of them. So
the Kageyama also said that. He just listed the supported.
Oh, okay, yeah. So there's going to be a lot of
what are the-
FF11 supports.
So there's 11 just before we move.
Ah,
on,
right,
because-
yeah. There's 11, there's cadets, there's Mobius.
When you say
not
cadets.
Type
Type 0, yeah.
Okay.
What else is there?
12, 13,
Characters
14.
from Orient.
12, 13, 14, yeah.
Oh, wait, so it's 11, 12, 13, 14,
Yeah.
and Type 0
And
and
Mobius.
Mobius.
and
I
Mobius.
think something else.
Yeah, one other thing,
That's
I think, yeah.
that's a lot of categories.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't actually ever
Oh, yeah,
stopped
Pictologia.
and counted.
Yeah. Pictologica.
Yeah.
Like those little chibi characters.
Oh,
Have you seen the
yeah,
new
yeah,
Vein
yeah.
one?
The
Yeah.
vein,
Yeah.
Well, because I haven't actually ever stopped and counted the quantity of categories in any of the previous opuses. But
I
that feels like more.
there's going to be like slightly more.
I could just be entirely wrong.
But like, what was there in
I haven't
Opus 1?
stopped.
There's like the stats.
Everything.
So like 7, 10, 13.
13.
There was 8, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Supported.
There was
A little bit of.
this thing.
Was there a cane? There was a cane, so a little bit of 4, and Golbez and Cecil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else?
There's Gilgamesh
Yeah.
from 5.
Yeah.
And
Dissidia.
Dissidia from 5.
Oh, the city, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe
I mean, like, there's enough.
And then there's like
yeah.
all these standard units from like 1 and 2 and 3.
Yeah, that's true. All right, maybe I'm just sort of imagining things.
Like Minwoo.
Yeah, I think all the standard units is going to be from FF14, FF11.
Yeah.
Those are going to be the standard units, vanilla
Yeah.
kind of.
Well, we have
Because
Common
those are the
cards.
player characters.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
so funny. I like that.
that makes
Yeah.
a lot of sense.
So the next segment of the show is going to be, we're going to look at the chapter cards. And like we said before, it's going to be FF11. And this first card actually, is very relevant to the Diabolos that we were just talking about. So Chris, do you want to tell us what this card does?
Oh, it looks beautiful. I can't really even see the art from here, but it looks beautiful. It's called... It has a name.
No, it's called
Shamond.
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 Yeah, yeah.
Shamonde.
Yeah,
Shamond.
Shamond.
Hemonde.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's got a name. And I'm sorry, I didn't play Final Fantasy 11, was this?
Yeah,
one?
yeah,
I didn't play
yeah.
Final Fantasy 11, I'm sorry. Anyway, all characters can only become active during the active phase, and it's on a 2 CP ice backup.
This is in chapter 6, so it's FF11, so
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even
Really
realize
like-
that chapter 6 is actually close to Opus 5. Like, it's only just hit me, we're already up to 5 now. That's coming out
The
soon.
little question I have with this card, say that you have the White Mage backup from Opus 4.
Yeah.
If you choose a forward and then try to activate when they have it,
Yeah.
does that forward still get 1000 power or no?
Yeah,
It does.
it just won't
It
activate.
does? It just won't activate.
won't
Okay, yeah.
Like the effect will try to resolve.
Yeah.
as best it can. So
Okay.
like all of the other
Yeah,
effects
yeah.
will still be. It's not like the target is being removed from the game.
It's okay. Wind has Archer.
When is actually, yeah.
The thing,
This is war going on.
here's the thing about this though. Like it looks beautiful, but there's already like Jill Nabat, right, from Opus 2.
Yeah.
And let's forget that she's called Jill Nabat.
Okay,
for
sure.
a
Yeah,
second.
sure.
Even if she wasn't called Jill Nabat, I don't think I'd run her. And
Really?
yeah. And
You wouldn't want to protect your forts?
well, that's the thing. Of course I do. But I don't see how I'd have a space to put her
Yeah.
in to protect my forwards from backups, which has been really good against me traditionally.
Do you reckon this is a very meta-dependent card?
Yeah, 'cause
Absolutely, it's a hate card.
Yeah.
It is a hate card, but it's such a good hate card. It's like one of like...
No, because they have
on
to
the note
be.
on the note of Jill, Chris. I remember and at the time when we were playing.
Yeah.
Because you did play it back in Opus 2 for a while, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
did, much to my chagrin.
But
But
VB didn't exist back then.
that's
as
true.
well,
That's true. But my question would be, do you think the meta as we currently exist within it would push you towards playing this card? Like even excluding the new Diabolos, right?
Yeah.
We spoke in the last podcast about other mass activate effects that
yeah.
already cause you.
So far,
Gripes.
when I was in the our little local tournament last Wednesday, I never came up against any activation
Okay.
in all 4 games. The only activation I come against is
Me.
Kevin.
Yeah, but like...
Is
no,
that-
but he's,
in a
but
wind
he's,
deck.
no, but he's
Yeah.
like half your meta, right?
Yeah. So like it's a bit different from Jill Nabat because you can sort of compensate for her by putting a Duke Lag in a mono ice, and then if you're in a 2-element deck, you really don't have space at that point for the hate cards. So this is a bit different in that sense because Duke Lag doesn't just solve the problem.
That's right.
I think this will
So
be
maybe you
most
could do it in a mono deck.
the most similar card to this will be Ritz in like an Earth deck.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Is ice as dominant as water is?
You-
Or do we expect ice to be as dominant as water has been?
It could go in a deck where it's extremely good at killing things so long as they stay dull, that's
Which
just
is-
its only weakness would be getting
Activation.
activated.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
then it's like you can just absolutely make sure you can clamp down.
That's true. So
on
like some
anything.
sort of ice, earth, your masked women. And
Yeah,
ninja.
Yeah, then you can afford to give up a backup
Yeah, you
Yeah.
could. Yeah.
Okay.
to have this thing.
It's
You can
pretty
even kill backups in Ice Earth.
it's pretty funny. It's a hate card on a hate card named Ezel. Because if they play Ezel's like when,
Well,
when
yeah,
the
I mean,
opponent casts a summon.
right.
All
Yeah, yeah.
activation is kind of Earth Ice hate.
Nah, it's just funny to think about like a hate card on a hate card. Yeah.
yeah.
It's the wars.
Yeah, but
It's like every counterspell is a counterspell hate card.
Well, not every counter
Well,
spell.
no, that's true. I guess Carbuncle can't really counter counters.
I have a feeling the Earth is gonna get
Unless
more.
the counter also targets one of your things.
Ah, that's true.
I have a feeling the Earth is
Like
gonna.
Phoenix,
the-
like Phoenix?
Or
Yeah.
like Phoenix, or the new Alexander
Diabolos.
Diabolos
Yeah.
could do.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I do have a feeling the Earth is gonna get more like anti-summon things.
Well,
More than compound.
We've got Carbuncle.
Quite weird.
The sort of
Like,
Earth identity.
I'm not sure what they want to do with Earth because Earth has summoners, and they're also very slightly anti-summon.
They're
Yeah.
desperately
Well,
trying
they
to find
tend to be
something
slightly more-
interesting.
They-
No, don't be like that, Chris.
So, all the Earth summoners tend to be slightly more proactive and help you cast.
That's right.
summons.
Yeah.
Not the same way that the water summoners have done, but like they'll find you the summons
summons.
to cast.
Yes. Yeah.
Like two of
Sorry.
the 3 Rideas that exist just put
Get your
summons in your hand.
Yeah. That's right.
And the
Standard
standard
unit,
unit summoner
yeah.
just casts one for you.
Yeah.
So
While we're still on this hate card, just as an exercise, we can think about other hate cards that are in the game and how often they see play. And why do they see play, the ones that do. And the only ones I can think of that
Is
see
Ritz.
like regular play, at least which
Yeah.
I've seen physically, is... Well, Ritz, because there's a lot of bounce. Going up as-
A lot of me
and
here.
Shara really helps Ritz as you can justify Ritz
Yeah.
because there's a
No,
Shara
it's-
existing.
sometimes
right?
like you can run either or in any deck and they can
you
be fun.
can, but I think if you're running Ritz, like having Ritz ends up as a 3 cost 9k
Yeah, that's right.
character, and you're in Wind, So you've got Maria, presumably.
10k.
Yeah.
And they can't like even bounce your shower
Yeah.
to shrink your Ritz
Yeah.
in combat. So there's Ritz. There's the Emperor.
No,
of
Emperor.
course.
No, Emperor doesn't
Like-
count. Like in terms of a,
Well-
he's like all-encompassing
this,
hate card.
No, this is
Yeah.
why. This is what
Yeah.
I'm saying. This is why he seems played, right? Because he's so
He's so
broad.
wide-ranging.
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't matter really.
and
Including
then-
him's going to hit something.
Yeah, and then the only other one I can think of is the 5 CP Una, that makes
Yeah.
things get removed from the game instead of going to
Yeah.
a break zone.
And even then, it's not really used as a hit card. It just doubles as a hit card.
Well, yeah, because you
Exactly.
proactively
Yeah.
build
Yeah.
around it and Chaos Walk of the Wheel.
So
Yeah.
to me, like, does this fulfill any of those categories? Like, well, it doesn't hit the Emperor's category, right? It doesn't
Yeah, it doesn't-
blanket hate
Yeah.
loads of things. It doesn't advance your own game plan like Una does.
Mm-hmm.
And at the moment, maybe there is something, but there's no like Shara equivalent that makes you want to run this card.
all it really does is safeguard your strategy against the things
Yeah.
that traditionally counter you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So because of that, I mean, there's no sideboards in this game either. So can you like, are you putting? I don't like putting one of hate cards in either,
That's true. yeah.
because if you're in a matchup where you really need it, you've only got one in your deck, and if you're in a matchup
Unless-
where you don't need it and you do draw it, it's just
unless you can search for it, obviously.
unless you can set it, of course.
Yeah. Okay, let's go on to the next card. So this card is a lightning forward that breaks the game.
Breaks the game or breaks the rules.
Yeah, breaks the rules of the game. So we got a 4-cost 8,000 power mat, and it reads, you can have as many mats in your deck as you
I
wish.
think it's Mart.
Mart, yeah, Mart.
Same thing.
Same thing.
There's an extra K in there. It's not the same thing. Anyway, carry on.
Yeah, so Bear Killer S ability, S and 1 lightning CP. Choose 1 forward, make it dull, and deal it 2,000 damage for each mod in your break zone. And the other mod
It's
is...
such a meme.
So
Yeah,
there's
so
a
such a
second
meme.
Mart.
Yeah, the second mod is a 5-drop 9k on curve. The damage you must receive to lose the game is higher by 1 point. So you need to have 8 points of damage or remove mat if you're on 7 to win. And 100 fists, S ability, 1 lightning. Choose 1 active forward, deal it 8,000 damage to it.
So that's kind of neat. I mean,
It's a meme deck,
It's
right?
it's wonky.
Surely.
It's just having 50
I
mats
don't
in deck.
imagine it'll
Okay.
take over the game or anything.
No.
No, it's
Especially
cool. It's
because
cool though.
in this game, the rules is you can only have 1 mat on board.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, wouldn't it be funny if the Mart that, I mean, Square Enix don't do this, but if they printed it at the one that you can have any number of, they printed at like heroic.
Yeah.
I mean,
I could make the deck now.
well, you buy a lot of cards.
I probably don't have that much action, to be honest. Even then,
actually,
I
if
don't
that
have
was a
50
tier 1 deck, I would be very, very sad.
I'm sure it won't be.
Yeah.
Sure it won't be.
Nah.
These are really interesting cards.
Yeah.
It's very different. I mean, it's not like anything you see in a lot of TCGs. I know in Magic there's Relentless Rats that has a similar. You can have any number of them, and in the old Legend of the Five Rings card game, there was like this Roman legionary character that you could have any number of in your deck. But it's.
So do we think 9 mats would be fine?
Do you think that would?
Because I'm thinking
Well,
of Shiva,
including
right?
including the other mats, you mean?
Oh, in order
Together?
to hit the damage threshold.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
damage
at what
threshold.
point? How many do you put in your deck to make Bear Killer good?
Like you can even just run 6. I think it'd be fine. Because
I'm thinking you want 8,000 damage probably, right?
yeah, I
Like,
guess
That's
so.
a
that effect.
baseline, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, so you'd only
So-
get it off twice if you run 6 witches. And
And
it's
if you
really
draw
late
them
into the
all
game,
and you
yeah.
discarded them all.
Yeah.
Because it shouldn't be your main game plan anyway, right?
If you're making this deck, yes, it is. It's to make the biggest possible win.
Then I'm making 50 card bad deck then.
Okay.
He's a 4-cost. He can just play it from hand. It's fine. Without
Yeah,
losing any
his
value.
X costs 1 CP though.
Yeah.
So, all right. Assume
That means you get to discard 2 mats.
Wow.
Assuming that we are existing in the almost only Mart deck,
Yeah.
and you go to discard for your first Mart. That's 2 in the break zone. What else are you playing to get more Marts in the break zone?
Oh yeah, you can
Well,
only...
because you end up because you also have to pay the S, so that's 6,000, right? Assuming your deck is mostly Marts.
Mostly not.
And
Right?
the
At this
thing-
point, you've got 3 Marts.
But no, look, you don't have to dull him.
I think you
So
do.
it doesn't say that. So
On the card art, it looks like you have to dull it.
Oh, actually, that's my I think that was a mistake. It's kind of hard to see, but I think it's S and then dull, not S and won't let any CP.
Okay.
Ah.
So
Yeah.
that makes it
So that's a
significantly worse.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if he didn't read that, you could just keep responding to it
Yeah.
by bear killering again.
Again and again.
You don't even have to respond. Just let the damage happen.
Yeah,
and
you-
again.
Oh well, no. If
Yeah.
you respond to it,
You can
then
get more on
then
all
the-
of them.
you'd get higher damage for the earlier ones.
Yeah.
True.
Mm.
But they overtake real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was a little hard to see. Sorry, viewers.
In
But-
which case, you'd want to activate your mat.
Yeah.
Which
So you-
means we don't want to just be in lightning.
Yeah.
We want to be in wind lightning.
You want hope.
You want Diabolos?
Yeah.
Maybe
We-
not
we-
Diabolos.
Because he'll reduce it to 1,000 power, and then Matt can do like 10,000 million damage.
Oh, and then we've got summoner, so we can just break the summoner to play the.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Diabolos.
Yeah.
There's a deck right there.
we go.
There's a deck right there.
Wow.
And we
Wind
still
lightning.
only have one forward in play.
And
we
have
have
hope.
hope.
ever
Remember,
have
we
one
have hope.
for-
Oh,
I
we've got
have
hope.
a- yeah.
We've got hope as well.
Which finds your Alexander, which activates your backup, so you can
Do
S-
something
S
else.
again.
use the summoner.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
summoners? Oh, sorry, not summoners. Do backups do suffer summoning sickness? Don't they?
They do.
Yes.
Yeah.
So not all at once. You have to have them
have to set
sit
up.
and play.
It's
Yeah.
set up.
Have them not get removed.
Yeah, so this is some cool cards that we thought you guys would enjoy, knowing about. But there's gonna be a lot more FF11 cards. Like I saw one which just kind of a fire backup. This you can put in break zone to give something haste. I saw
That seems sensible.
I saw like an earth backup that can just put into the break zone, cancel a summon.
These are chapters cards
Yes,
we're looking
yes,
at.
yeah,
right?
yeah,
These-
yeah.
We don't
Yeah.
have secret hidden knowledge.
No. Yeah, these are all chapter cards. But like, I think there's gonna be a lot of FF11, like we said, and these ones are like at least I think Matt is gonna come up. He's gonna be like another meme card because there's two copies of him.
Eventually-
You'll be the Hildebrand of
Yeah,
11.
eventually
Yeah.
Perhaps
Lightning
I-
can just have the ultimate meme deck that's a compilation of memes.
Yes, yeah.
Because Hildebrand can put this guy into play.
Oh,
Yeah, you can.
Like, I'm about to
Amazing.
lose. Ah.
You can stack your deck full of marts for Hildebrand.
Yeah,
Much
exactly.
more likely to hit a forward.
Yeah.
Well,
And there's one of your backups already done. That's true.
That's true, yeah.
That's true. I do wonder, I mean, because FF11's prominence was a while ago, and it was one of the more obscure titles. I mean, I didn't play it, and I don't think any of you guys did.
No, we didn't know.
So I do think they'll probably be quite careful picking the characters that they do pick from 11. I mean, Shantoto is prominent because she was featured in...
Also
and,
Brish.
Shantoto and Brish were both prominent because they were both featured in Dissidia Duodecim, and Shantoto at least has been featured in Dissidia NT. So, like, that's why I think we've seen them so far, which of course isn't to say that I don't think... We should expect some 11 characters who've been told as much.
What about
I-
the Shadow Lord?
Oh,
Oh, yes, that's right. He was
We have
11 as
Shadow
well.
Lord.
Shadow
Yeah,
Lord.
yeah. And there was another Shadowland chapters, but it was like an altered version of the current Shadow Lord.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
so
that's the
it
one
still
we got.
it still breaks all two costs less forward, but has an S.
Well,
It's different, yeah.
My concern is because I know nothing about 11. I have no idea which characters are more likely to show up
Yeah,
than
yeah,
others.
yeah.
And because it's an MMO, there's probably
Lots.
dozens and dozens of like at least semi-prominent NPCs that
Yeah,
could
yeah.
show up.
There was also the dancer Lissalette. Now they had 3 copies in chapters, so she's probably gonna come.
Okay.
That's probably a popular character.
Yeah, she's a dancer, and actually the FF11 cards had like a little dancer tribal deck.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
yeah. That wind and water
Maybe that was
dancers go together.
Oh,
like,
that's really
yeah.
cool.
Maybe that was a popular job in the game.
Yeah, it was a popular job, but I'm not sure if it was that viable. The cards weren't that good.
Okay.
I don't.
Yeah.
We can't really compare.
that's true.
What we know
That's true.
to what the chapters meant it would have been like
Yeah,
because
yeah.
we didn't play it.
But the other thing that we were told in this Diablo spoiler was that next week they're going to spoiler a backup version of the oldest Lassie. So what people didn't know, people might not know, Lassie is a term used in Final Fantasy 13, also in Type 0 game. It was supposed to be actually in FF15 as well, but they removed it.
Well, it's because
okay.
15
Yeah.
was originally billed as Final Fantasy Versus 13.
Versus
It was-
13, yeah,
It
yeah.
was the third part of what was going to be a trio of
Yeah,
games.
yeah.
So, same with Type 0 was originally called Final Fantasy 13 Agito, I believe.
Agito, yeah.
And there were going to be a
The
triplet
Fabula
of
Crystallis
games.
or something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Fabula Nova Crystallis.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
yes, yeah.
As production schedules sort of sprawled out and as
Yeah.
they tend to do, they decided to just make them their own games.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, there were L'Cie on Orient and Type 0 as well.
Yeah. So in terms of the actual lore, Chris, do you want to tell us about a likely candidate for the oldest L'Cie if it was a Type 0 card?
Yeah, so we did a little bit of research earlier.
Yeah.
Just so everybody knows, I've played most of Type 0, and you guys...
I played a bit of it.
Right. Yeah, you played a little bit, but you guys haven't played it?
I've listened to the soundtrack.
Okay,
I bought it for the FF15 demo.
I remember that.
Oh, wow.
It still comes with an FF15 demo.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I should redeem that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
So
anyways,
I don't want to release any spoilers
true.
because of these guys. But the oldest L'Cie in that game is for the Vermilion Bird, which is the nation that the cadets are from. It's for the Vermilion Bird L'Cie, Lady Satuna.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about the Concordians though, the Azure Dragon nation,
Right.
because their L'Cie is a dragon.
So they might be
And it might be really old.
Theoretically, being much
Yeah.
older.
Yeah.
So I think
But
the wording in this thing wasn't the oldest L'Cie, it was one of the oldest L'Cie.
Yeah.
Wait,
yeah,
that's just
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
That opens everything.
Yeah. So it just has to be old.
yeah.
It doesn't have to be the oldest.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But in that sense, then I think Satuna is a really good candidate because as a backup version, I would think that they use what's called a Secundus L'Cie. Like there's like a first and a second L'Cie in Type 0 for each nation, the Primus and the Secundus.
Yeah.
And the Primus embodies like raw power of that nation, and the Secundus is a more of a supporting role.
Oh, yeah.
So I think the Secundus L'Cie, in this case being Satuna for the Vermilion Bird, it makes sense that she'd be a backup.
Yeah.
And for perspective, that's what Kunmi is to
Nimbus.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they might have gotten the power balance
I'm
of those
so
cards.
unhappy with the Nimbus.
And you kept opening more and more.
I have a playset of foil Nimbus. I've never traded for Nimbus. And I can't get rid of them either. I've got all the non-foils still as well. Nimbus and Kunmi are the White Tiger ones. The main baddies. At least up to where I'm up to. I haven't got right to the end. Anyway, so what Satuna does in the story, without any giving away any big spoilers, is she's all about summoning really powerful summons. So I was thinking maybe she'll have something to do with that. I mean, we've got 2 legendary high-cost summons already spoiled for Opus 5. Maybe she'll interact with them in some nice way. But you've got one here from Chapters that
Chapters
has nothing
5.
to do with summons.
No, the other one has something to do with
Oh, does
summons.
it?
Okay.
Yeah, it does. You're able to get the God of War summon or something from your deck. Yeah, something like that. But this one was much more interesting.
Well, this one...
And this is closer. This is Chapter 5.
Yeah, this one's special ability is similar to what happens when she does summon the summon in Type 0
The
anyway.
summon that shall not be named.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't
So
say Concealed
that's-
Great War of God. Where you get
Well,
what?
let's
Let's
read the
read what
card
it does.
first.
Yeah. So it's a 3 CP fire backup. I presume it's called Vermilion Bird L'Cie Satuna. And it's costs 2 and a fire.
Oh, no, it's
2 fire.
Oh, 2 fire. This turn you can treat Satuna as a forward of 6,000 power. This ability can only be used on your main phase, and it's got a special ability of 2 fire and dull. Move 5 backups to the break zone. Break all of your opponent's forwards.
That's just a better Zodiac.
well, you need to get
You
5.
have to have 5 backups.
Yeah.
So-
But when you're using this, you're winning the game, essentially.
Or saving yourself from losing the game.
I guess so. Yeah.
So, like, I remember when we were talking about the new Ifrit from Opus 4, I was imagining some deck where you were just trying to build up fire backups. Maybe this is sort of going to find a home, if it were to be printed.
But you'd reset your Ifrith.
That's true.
And you'd also like get rid of this card, which costs 3, which means you can't just have super cheap backups. This has to be one of them.
In fact, you said there was another Satuna, but if there isn't another Satuna, which I assume there will be because they said backup version, which implies there'll be another
that one,
version.
that one was a backup as well.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is assuming it's Satuna. They could be talking about 13 and not Type 0.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Which is more likely, by the way.
Yeah. Assuming they're talking about Type
Unfortunately.
0. But they did say they got new art done in 4 Type 0, didn't they, in this set? So, it would
So
make
if
sense.
for reference, this is the other backup one. So it's a 3-cost fire backup, the EX bursts.
Yeah.
When it enters the field, choose one summon with War God in your break zone. Return it to your hand. The cost of War God in your hand is reduced by 2.
That makes sense.
That makes sense, but it's not as
I was thinking
it's not as like impactful.
I think it'd be
as
something
other-
like that. Of like,
You reckon?
Yeah.
and like this was saying to Kevin earlier, is maybe it was like your 5 costs or more costs 2 less. I was like, maybe that's too powerful. But like,
Well, this is exactly what it is.
But
Uh,
this could also just reference what she summons in,
Yeah.
in Type 0. But if there isn't another one, then her special ability you can only use it once, unless you've got Rem.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So if you do use it, then the next one that you draw
Is
dead.
it just sits there.
It's
It can
dead.
become a forward though.
Oh yeah.
It's got
that's
that line
true.
as well.
Yeah, that's really interesting because
I think
that's
they-
another cool
I'm
mechanic.
not sure if I'm recalling this correctly, but I do believe they said they weren't going to do this mechanic. The turning in back.
Oh, did they talk about it? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
I'd be happy if they
I
don't.
recall this correctly, but
I mean, like
I think somewhere I read that they. were doing this.
I wouldn't miss it.
Yeah.
But if it did come up,
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind either.
Well,
you know,
if she,
it's a
if
kind
she
of thing.
was just
A fault.
a backup
Oh.
that only had the second line of
Yeah.
text.
Yeah, she reminds me of Oron.
Already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well-
Oron's like it's miserable unless you can S him. Like
Yeah.
it depends. It
Oh,
really depends.
Oron.
Yeah, it depends
Yeah,
how
I was
easy.
thinking about the other one as well.
It really depends
Yeah.
how easy it is to.
Get her.
Well, I'm
Is that-
looking at this card. It made me think of
Yes.
Oren,
Oh yeah.
right? Because I've been looking
yeah.
for a reason to attack you and have that attack also put a backup in.
What
Or
about
even
Garland?
Garland. Garland's
Oh
better.
yeah, and Garland
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. I mean,
We'll see. Let's
So
see.
if this
Yeah.
is if it's a Type 0 Lassie they're talking
Then
about,
it'll be
it's
this one.
Probably.
Yeah.
What about the dragon?
We'll see.
We'll see,
But
we'll see.
would a
Because there
dragon
are-
be a backup?
There are 4
I don't think
factions,
so.
Yeah.
right? There are 4 factions that in Type 0 that have Lassie, right? And there are
Yeah.
2 Lassie per faction.
But there's more.
Oh, there are more?
But
Oh,
over
right.
the course of the game.
Yeah, right. Yeah. A minimum of 2 Lassie per faction
Yeah,
that they
yeah.
could put into the trading card game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a breadth of characters we
Poor
could
Nimbus,
expect.
man. He got so shafted.
Maybe we'll get another.
Yeah,
Nimbus,
maybe we'll
maybe
get a new
backup
one.
Nimbus.
I was tricking you. Here I am.
Here I am.
Full power.
And this one.
Behold my true majesty!
Can only be played from your hand onto the field by dialing ice element forward.
No, it won't be that, Kevin. It will be something like it can only be played by the other Nimbus by putting that into the deck zone. So for this Nimbus.
This is not even my final form scenario.
Yeah.
Nimbus must be the worst
Look at
card in
Chris.
the game.
No, I was before he was spoiled. I was really hyped about that Nimbus, and then I saw what he was.
Come to
but-
think about it, Chris, I don't think you've correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think you've played Type 0 since you've seen the new Nimbus.
No, I have it. There's a level with an egg at the end. That's why I'm not playing it at the moment.
Okay.
It takes me an hour to get to the end, and I die at an egg, and then I'm like, and you can't save within that hour.
That sucks.
Yeah.
But anyways, the
other
other
possibility?
The other possibility is in terms of the wording that they said one of the oldest Lassie, a backup version of that Lassie, which means that we probably already have a forward version of it. So a likely scenario is Vanille, and I think it's really good to have Vanille because the forward Vanille is so good, right? Because no, honestly, like it's been used way more in Opus 4 came out, right? So then
Double the number of hectares.
Yeah. So then now, if they put a really good backup Vanille, it's a real trade-off that Earth players have to
That's true.
have to
That's
decide.
true.
This is the best Vanille backup that I found. There's 3, I think. I'm not entirely sure if
I don't think
they
it's
would.
that good.
Yeah, I don't think it's that good either. But maybe it is.
I mean,
Was
I
there
mean,
one
I've
closer
been
to
wanting
like
an
chapter 5?
we can have a look at it, but just for now, let's see what this card does.
Okay.
It's a 2-cost Earth backup, and you can just dull it, put Vanille into the break zone, remove all cards from all break zones. So this, counters Devout. This counters Aiko, the
Yeah.
Heroic Aiko,
Sage.
Sage.
I've been wanting a card like this in the game to exist for a long time. It's a shame.
Other than like Yuna and what's the other
Well,
one?
yeah.
Because
Like,
those
yeah.
can only
one
target
that-
from field.
One that can get rid of everything that's already there. I mean, we've got Enuo.
Anyway, that's right.
But,
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
He's
It's really expensive.
CP intensive,
Yeah.
and like I just want what's the magic one is Tormod's Crypt, right? Or Relic of Progenitors. That's what this thing is.
This thing is CP intensive.
as well.
If you're leaving it up every turn,
Yeah, no, it feels somewhat less.
you've got one less CP for the rest of the game.
It's also less vulnerable than like NUO is,
It is, yeah.
and
If it's something that like the meta really steers towards, no, because say that you Shiva, then you can just tap this, and then your Shiva is only 6k. You know?
Yep, but
Yeah,
then you
yeah.
don't Shiva.
But that's the thing. You leave this up, then I'd be like, okay, so now you're not gonna Shiva.
Yeah, but you have to leave it up, and I do spend my resources on something else, right?
Yeah. I mean,
trade-off.
it's a real trade-off. That's
it,
Like,
it
we were
forces the
saying
game into a
before-
particular.
We were saying
line.
before, right, that that ice hate card we saw, is like really iffy, and you don't even have to leave that up to get the hate effect. This you have to sacrifice your CP to represent it, and if you like use it earlier, then they can populate their break zone again.
exactly.
That's true.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
it's you want to use it when it's relevant. So
The other good vanilla backup was Earth Dull. All forwards you control gain 1,000 power until the end of the turn. This is another 2-cost Earth backup. And an S ability, just one S. Until the end of the turn, all forwards you control can't break due to opponent's effects and don't take damage from opponent's effects.
Wow.
So, I mean, that's cool, right?
That's quite nifty.
You know?
And quite strong.
the special there doesn't cost anything.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just S.
It's
Yeah,
pretty...
I think
Yeah.
it looks like it might
That's a
be
bit strong.
Amazing.
Nah, it's just S, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
well, it reminds me of.
That's so good.
This was in the 14th chapter, by the way.
Yeah.
Way,
where
way.
things got a bit ridiculous.
reminds me of the Opus One Aerith, the Planet Protector Aerith.
Oh, yeah?
So
Except it's just S.
yeah.
Just S, yeah.
Which makes me think they could
Do something.
do something to change it if they were to put that in.
Yeah, the other vanilla is just pay 4 CP, Dull, put vanilla to break zone, choose one Dull forward, break it. So
Okay,
it's
so
another 2-cost Earth
We
backup.
kind of got this is kind of machinist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't really like it. Like,
Actually, that's
honestly.
Yeah,
That's
because
exactly
this
machinist.
exact effect almost exists.
Yeah. So it's yeah.
I mean,
I
not
don't think
from
this
the
is likely either. So
Yeah. So I guess
that's pretty much it. You know.
And of course, there are other Lassie that we.
Oh,
like,
definitely.
From
Yeah,
13 as well.
I don't actually know who's oldest between Vanilla and Fang. That's
Yeah,
something I can't remember.
but will Fang really be a backup?
Fang could
Maybe.
be a backup.
I mean, like the chapter series never had a backup
I mean,
version of
I
her.
doubt she'd be a backup.
Yeah.
But I mean,
She's
maybe.
too proactive a character.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
she's Commando she's Saboteur.
Saboteur.
She could be a backup.
Okay.
She
Right.
maybe yeah.
Like Saboteur is one of her roles. So
Like
Also, they could just invent a completely new like effect to put on the Opus card because they don't
Yeah.
always follow their chapters card.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. They do it all the time. But it's a nice little hint. And essentially, I don't see Fang as a backup. Well, it can be. Like, they can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
But just as a character...
I agree. I also
Yeah.
don't see it much as backup, but it's
Yeah,
potential.
it's very
Probably
possible.
Vanilla out of them.
Another dodge, maybe.
Dutch?
He's not the
Well,
oldest.
He's not the
Backup-
oldest.
backup version.
He's actually pretty...
Well, I mean, like, it comes back to what we think oldest means. If it's just, and remember,
Do you think
one
the
of
youngest character
yeah.
might be what they meant by oldest
I
Lassie?
don't. I'm just.
It just depends how you say oldest. I mean, it might mean the
No,
youngest.
No.
Oldest
13
going
is an
from
older
time
game
traveling
than
backwards.
Type Zero.
Yeah.
Right, that's what
Yes,
I mean.
that's true,
Not,
that's true.
Not considering the character's age,
Right.
but like in terms of chronological release order, 13 came before Type Zero. So any
But
any
Dutch
Lassie
just
from
isn't
there.
the first thing seen anyway in 13.
Yeah, no, I mean, but
Yeah.
regardless of how soon you see them in the game, I just mean in terms of when the game came out.
Because they all came out at the same
Yeah,
time.
like technically they all
essentially.
came out in the same
I
experience.
don't think the spoiler of
Yeah, I
one of
don't
the
think
oldest
so either.
Lassie will mean a Lassie from 13.
Yeah.
I'm also
Just-
not making a
just a
case
general-
for it being
Yeah.
Dodge.
It was just putting an example. It was
Yeah,
just putting
I
an
was
example.
thinking of characters that could be backups.
I would
Uh,
love it for it to be Dodge, though. That would be amazing.
That'd be so fun.
forward dodge.
Trolliest kid.
No, another backup Dodge. That would be very funny.
Okay. So, yeah, that's pretty much
I'd also
it.
really like to see Sid Reigns as the Lassie. That'd be cool.
But we already got the spoiler for the drains.
Oh, did we?
Yeah. The one that forecasts the X burst?
Is it a Lassie?
Ah,
I
no.
don't think so.
I want to see a Sid Reigns Lassie.
Ah, okay, yeah. But wouldn't that just be a forward?
I don't mean for this backup.
Oh,
I mean, just,
right,
I want
right,
to
right.
see a Sid
Yeah.
Reigns Lassie.
No, all good,
Yeah.
yeah.
These are his wishes.
That makes
Yeah.
sense. Okay. So our next segment is gonna be MogPod Original Designs. This is a new segment that we're doing just for season 2. For season 2, and it's gonna be cards that we imagine, that we're gonna imagine to have in the future sets. And I just want to have a little backstory to this, right? So I came up with this idea because all these Mobius cards coming out, right? And then one person, you guys know Gary, well, they're saying that, or was it Gary or you, Kevin? I forgot. Was saying that if all these Mobius cards are coming out, that means there's like other mobile games should also Brave Exvius sort of thing.
Yeah.
Right now, hold on. So he's like, oh, Brave Exvius, and it's like, oh, okay. And it's like, so what would you want from Brave Exvius? He's like Ariana Grande.
I was going to say there's that pop star, right?
Yeah. So I'm like, oh my god. And then I told him that I would kill number 2 potato boss if Ariana Grande comes before Noctis. All right. And then I was like, wait, if Noctis was a card, what would he be, right? So this is my own like kind of design of what I think Noctis would be like, and I think
what the segment is we're going to start showing our designs or our like what we might expect from a particular character if they were translated into the card game.
Yeah.
So maybe we could at some point make an Ariana Grande.
Yeah, maybe we'll see.
We could each like come up with our own.
Yeah.
This is another thing we could also ask
the audience.
You guys.
Yeah.
If you wanted to submit card ideas to us, if we like them, we could put them up on
that's
on
half
the
reason
show
as well.
and discuss them.
Yeah, that's half the reason, and we'll make cool art like for this one. So I'm gonna show it up. It's a Noctis. So it's my own original design. So 3 costs, lightning forward. Is an EX burst, 5,000 power. His EX burst reads, when Noctis enters the field, choose 1 damaged forward, break it, and has an S ability, Warp Strike. Everyone Warp Strikes in Final Fantasy 15. S ability, 1 lightning, choose 1 forward, deal at 3,000 damage, and put Noctis on top of your deck.
I think he could be 6,000 power.
Really?
Still be fine.
I think he needs with this text. I think he needs to be like 1,000 power.
Yeah. Just a little thing about my little design, because this is the kind of thing I was saying, is that I really wanted to make a mechanic for Warp Strike. So that was the main starter, because Warp Strike is such a like anybody that has any idea of Final Fantasy 15 sees the cool Warp Strike, goes, ooh, I want to go play that game because that looks so fun. That looks so cool, right? And when you play Final Fantasy 15. Half the time using Warp Strike is to run away from enemies, right? So this is kind of it. So you kind of hit the enemy, you Warp Strike out, and then you come back in to finish off the enemy to kind of heal, right?
That's
this
the
is
crit.
A really cool.
Warp Strike crits.
Yeah, that's a crit. So that's the EX burst. So choose 1
I
forward.
rescind my previous comment. 5,000 power is fine.
Yeah. So choose 1 forward, deal 3,000 damage, which is like you hit him, and then he Warp Strikes out, and then he comes back in.
One thing I like from a flavor perspective as well is. I remember hammering on Warp Strikes because when you wanted to get the special ingredients broken off of the monsters, there was I think it was one of the upgrades you can get when you Warp Strike on Warp Struck monsters in particular areas. If it crit, it had a higher chance to break off ingredients. So that sort of fits as well.
I just realized what you could do with this card. You could block and then Warp Strike.
Yeah.
I mean, and then they just wouldn't attack, I guess.
I mean, no, actually, I wouldn't think you want to do that. The thing is...
Yeah, because you just let it go through and then you S and then you exit.
The design of this is that Noctis is pretty aggressive, right? Oh, this card is pretty aggressive. Is that you can keep on attacking with Noctis and you can still have the fear of the S, because I didn't put any Del ability on it. So
if you have the other Noctis in your hand, they wouldn't want to block this Noctis anyway and let it die, because if you play that Noctis,
True. Yeah, so it's another thing is, I'm sure people have already noticed, it's an Aulstynes target.
Yeah, it's
and
the best Aulstynes target.
It's probably the best Aulstynes target.
It's absolutely the best Aulstynes target.
EXs, it just kills no matter how big it is.
Maybe for that reason, maybe it can't be 3. Maybe it has to be like a 4 CP.
Maybe I would okay be 4 CP 6K.
Because if you compare it to like Orlando, sure it's like under the curve, but it's so much easier.
The EX burst itself is you're unlikely to hit it off normally. Because you're literally not going to attack with damage forward.
Orlando doesn't EX burst.
No, he doesn't. No.
I couldn't. I don't play him very much.
No, he doesn't EX burst. But it's the EX burst is not relevant in that, but it's relevant in the S. So that's a really. Another thing, I made a 3,000 power in particular because I hate myself. No, but because it kills Warrior of Light as well. So even
it deals 1,000 damage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
breaks through the armor.
Yeah, it breaks through the armor.
Adamantoise.
Whatever. No, that's a different story. But it can still kill Warrior of Light. So that's why 3,000 power. Everything is. I thought about it quite a lot.
Well, I mean, it's kind of cool that Adamantoise would save it because that's the big
Oh,
scary
yeah.
boss,
Yeah,
right? It's
yeah,
a giant Adamantoise.
Meme
Yeah.
Adamantoises.
Yeah.
The bane of Noctis.
But there's enough play around. Obviously, Minwoo sucks against him. I was like, Minwoo's good against him.
Yeah.
He sucks against Minwoo.
Thank
But
you, Jared. Your screams fuel my
I
existence.
was hoping we wouldn't get to Minwoo in the first episode of season 2.
Well, Minwoo is from Final Fantasy 2.
Are we getting more 2 cards?
No, season
Season
2.
2.
Oh, God!
Season 2.
Yeah.
Ah!
And next time it's episode 2. It has been Minwoo week.
As a
Season
bi-weekly podcast.
Yeah.
I also gave him a job prince. I'm not sure if that's relevant, but there have been chapter cards
That
that
means
reference job
Bart's will
prince.
be a prince now.
Yeah.
Yes, you'd be
Yes.
giving Bart's yet
Royalty.
another station within the royal. He's already a queen and a king.
He's also a
and a
princess.
princess.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
only fair.
Okay, so I want to pass on to you guys. What do you like about it, or like what would you change to it in terms of, because this is my design, and so I think even at 3CP it's still good. Like it's a little overpowered, but not too much. What do you guys think, Jared?
I think like the 3CP thing is the only thing that
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
chafe at. Like the fact that Aulstynes exists, as I spoke about last season in our lightning theme episode. Every future forward that they print, unless we at some point a
Cycle
rotation
out or whatever,
instituted. Every lightning forward has to be built around the fact that Aulstynes sees lots of play and is like the premier lightning removal option. So giving him something that is already so much better than Onion Knight and Rigdir and is it Black
I mean,
Bolt? Yeah.
technically he
So-
can't kill Vincent.
That is
That is actually true.
So
but
it's
how
okay.
relevant is that?
Oh, come on. Vincent's played a lot.
yeah,
He still
Vincent's
played a
played
lot.
that.
Yeah.
I mean, I play him, so yeah.
Yeah, I play him as well. Yeah. So I don't know. I think there's enough play around that it's still okay for him to be through. But that's fine. Chris, what do you think?
I agree that it shouldn't be
Yeah.
outside of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I love the flavor of this. Going back onto your deck just to come back.
Yeah.
If he was 4, do we think that he should still be at 5k
No,
or
no,
6k?
I don't think so.
You know what else he does is he stops you milling out from damage.
Yeah,
as
that's the
well.
other thing. Yeah. That's the other thing. That's what was,
That's true.
because lightning has that little something like
Yeah,
it's very
funny
small,
thing.
but
Yeah.
it has it. So
Yeah.
it fits in lightning very well. You know.
You can also put him into play with Hildebrand.
Oh,
Warp
yeah.
strike him on top and then...
Oh my god.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Oh, the deck just makes
The
itself.
next, look at that.
And then you can play him with Mart.
I didn't even plan for this. Honestly,
Wow.
I didn't even plan this. But yeah. Anything else you wanted to say, Chris?
No.
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 Oh, okay. So Kevin, what do you think?
I would change quite a lot
cost.
about this card.
Oh, okay.
I'd change the font.
All right. Okay. So guys, I already know there's a lot of
I
things
mean,
wrong with it.
I wasn't going to bring it up, but seeing as how Kevin did, you've got the wrong frame format there.
Wait, really?
I do.
It's
I do.
the old one.
I do,
Oh,
and
yeah, it is the old
also
one.
this is the city art, so I need to be DFF.
Yeah.
No,
Oh, this
I-
terrible card, bro.
I know all the problems. I just didn't have enough time.
No,
And
this is fine. I
Did,
like
did you
it.
know how long it took me to transparent the legs into the background?
I was
and
noticing that. That's really good job.
and to put in that little lightning logo as well. Oh man, you can see it goes over the
forward,
text.
yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
come on, I can't.
That's
I
fine,
can't.
it's
You
fine.
know.
You're
that's
not
fine.
a professional.
No.
Well, this is very professional, but you're
Yeah.
doing the best you can.
Yeah, I'm doing But yeah. So
I think it just changed the
But
cost.
for like not
just
so
change the
much-
cost.
Not so
Maybe
much
like-
this card particularly, but other Noctis themed things that could happen.
Oh yeah.
Could be because we've had this exercise before, ages ago, before we knew you. Like,
Oh, really? Yeah,
a long
yeah.
time ago. Like, what would Noctis do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe it could be. Could they have the link strikes in 15?
Yes. Yeah.
Like,
It's a big part of the combat. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
is where one of your teammates will be with you, and then they'll join in and do a big thing. That's kind of like party attacking, I feel.
Yeah.
So they could do like a Noctis that's like the Opus 1 mime that
Oh,
changes
right,
elements,
right.
and you could have each of the buddies being the different elements.
They,
Noctis could be light or dark, whatever.
yeah.
Probably
himself.
light.
Probably
Yeah.
light. And then so you could change to party with one of them, and then each of them could have an effect when they attack with Noctis, like Len with
Ah,
Una.
yeah. That's
That
cool.
would be
That's cool.
different.
That's very
Yeah.
cool.
So Noctis himself being light could go in any
That
deck.
could be like this could be like the heroic version, and that could be like the legendary version,
yeah.
or something, or vice versa,
It'll
whatever.
also be
Yeah.
funny having a guy called Noctis, which means night in light.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah.
That's why I said all dark.
Yeah,
'cause
but
it's
then
like-
he wouldn't really.
But
be
he's
a dark
Noctis
guy.
Lucis, right?
Yeah,
but
yeah,
he's
yeah,
light.
Noctis
So, he's Twilight Prince, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's like
Wow.
you know.
you know,
a special grey card.
just for him. Yeah.
Noctis element.
Yeah. Maybe they make a light card and a dark card.
Oh.
One where he's got stubble.
Oh, right. Yeah.
One like this and one
Evening
like
Shadow Noctis.
You also said about grouping up with the S to activate all the like with his friends.
Oh, I think that would be like Ignis's thing, right?
Oh,
like,
right, yeah.
Everyone regroup, and he activates all the forwards.
Activates, yeah, that's that
and
would be
then
cool.
make them all the same element or something.
Ah, that'd be so cool because then you can have like a 3-color 15
Yeah,
deck.
yeah.
Because I think having themes in 3 colors but viable as 2-color decks is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like
As you've seen
cadets.
with-
There was a little mechanic in the chapter series with
They put a
Final
party
Fantasy
symbol,
V.
right?
Yeah, no, it's even so. There's like a little symbol in them that those symbols with a P on them. I think it's P. I think something else, but they can party attack regardless of element.
Ah.
So
that was a big part of the chapters. 6
chapter
characters.
5,
No,
chapter 6.
No, the category 6 characters.
Ah, yeah.
Which they've removed.
They removed.
I mean,
No, they've removed.
but-
But they had this sort of thing,
Yeah,
and
they
they
had
could bring
that
it back
sort of
with this
thing.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So long as the other ones can't party in the same party, because then you get the link strike.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, idea of Noctis plus someone else.
If this is becoming 4 cost, it has to be 7,000 power. I won't accept 6,000 power.
I
7 or
well,
7 or 6.
that's already a very powerful effect.
Yeah.
I think a 4 cost 6k because 6k pushes it out of the range of like VV and
Yeah.
stuff.
And
So it
if
doesn't
you're
get
playing
like,
it in
easily
mono
1 for
lightning,
1.
yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the things that will counter this is mill decks. Because they're just like, yes, and then go mill.
But this counters mill decks.
Yeah.
Oh,
It depends on who makes the move first.
yeah. No, and the other cool thing, if you're running Lightning Water, you can run the Geomancer, and you can check if this is on top of your attack, and then just ping damage and let the damage go
That's
through.
true.
Oh, that's really
You know?
cool.
I love
Yeah.
Geomancer.
Yeah, so Geomancer is so cool, but there's never enough space for him in a deck.
I know.
Yeah, it's
I
just one of
played
those
him a
cards.
lot in Opus 1.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, he was so cool.
Yeah. Do you guys think that this fits the flavor? Do you guys think it's
yeah,
OP?
absolutely.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
amazing. It's a very cool job.
Yeah. Okay. I think
Because
that's
it's
it.
like, when you flip a card as well, it's like he does his somersault when he's like
Yeah.
doing
Yeah,
a walk
yeah,
strike.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
he's like, whoop, like that's what he does. He throws the sword and
Yeah,
then he
yeah,
flips
yeah.
over
Yeah,
and
yeah,
whacks
yeah.
them. It's
Or
so
warp
cool.
strikes away and then
Yeah,
jumps
yeah.
back into
Yeah,
the fight.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's the whole point about it. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Well, do we know when we're getting 15 characters?
I wouldn't be surprised
Didn't they
if.
say?
No,
I feel like we've been told.
We've
I
been
just
told?
don't
In
remember.
the, in the stream for the
Opus
6.
6?
Opus 6?
Sure.
Okay.
I meant category 6 stream. They were saying when they got new art for the different sets, they probably said 15 at some point.
I'm not sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if Noctis comes as like a random lightning legendary. Like, and they won't even spoil it. Like, honestly, they would just leave it until release day. Right?
No,
And-
they
and-
do the opposite. Troll us all. He's the only 15 for.
Yeah.
Ah,
And
and-
everything else will come in the next set.
Yeah.
And he'll say, only if you activate this ability, only if you control this many.
Yeah.
15.
Yeah.
Oh, you could just complete troll, just like have like prompto or something.
And
the other thing, oh sorry,
I want their jobs to be Chocker Bros. I know that's not going to be the case. I'll be like Royal Guard or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh god.
the other thing I thought about this card was to give a stipulation that a category 15 forward has to be in play for the effect to go off. But I didn't think it was necessary.
No, well, because
Yeah.
there are points in the game where Noctis is by himself and he can still
Yeah.
warp strike, right?
Yeah.
I mean, not during the biggest portion of the game when he's by himself, but
Yeah.
yeah.
But so that's about it. Tell us what you think of this card in the comments.
Yeah.
And also, what other card would you like us to see, or even make your own cards in the comments, and we'll see if we like it, and we'll,
That'd be
make
really
it up.
cool. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah. So we're gonna do this for every episode. So we look forward to that.
Who's going to make one for next week?
I mean, like, I can make the art, but like whoever.
Does anyone want to jump in?
Mecha Chocobo.
I don't know.
Chocobo with an S.
I don't know.
I think I can take the next one.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I have a
Any
14 card in mind.
I actually want it to be water. I guess it doesn't have to.
how-
How many
Does it have to be
forwards does it
water?
activate?
How many points?
Okay.
I was thinking of a dark card, but well.
All right.
Oh no, it's fine. It's fine.
Let's
you
not
can.
give too much away.
Yeah. No, it's fine. You can make it whatever element you want,
All right.
and you can even Photoshop it yourself as well.
Yeah.
If you want some help, you can ask me that.
Okay.
So the next segment is another deck discussion, but teetering slightly on the meta report, somewhere in the middle. So we're gonna talk about the World Championship winner Tobi Henriet's Mono Ice. I know that he lost against another Mono Ice, but I think his Mono Ice is still very good.
It inspired me a lot with my own mono.
Yeah.
'cause This is sort of a a deck tech influenced by
Meta.
the meta.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'd also love to ask him some questions as well about this.
You
this
can.
deck.
I'm sure you can message him. I'm sure he's a cool guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, so with Tobi's deck, we're gonna put it up right here, and it's got a discard theme to it, and it
Yeah.
runs Light Terror.
So
Which is very interesting.
these are 2 points to try and notice straight away. So the Sid Aulstynes in there go very well with Flan, and I remember thinking that when Flan was spoiled, but when Opus 4 actually released, I completely forgot about it.
You thought of the best Earth card, Kefka.
I went to the length of putting in Kefka to sacrifice a couple of Flans and Renoa to get this effect, basically. When Ice had it all along, except you actually get to use the Flans for Sid Aulstynes effect. So that immediately made me think, I'm putting in 2 Sid Aulstynes into my deck. That's
really cool.
Because I'm already using Flans without any other synergy for Flans. Because I took out the Kefka. And it was like, well, putting in these Sid Aulstynes. We can talk more about them, I guess. I don't know, it's still this deck.
Yeah.
In every experience I've had with Sid Aulstyne, he's been really, really good.
You just don't expect it. Like, because I played against your old Mono Ice, and it's like, you can't really break anything. I'm okay as long as my forwards are active. And now...
That's the thing. That's the most amazing thing about him is he can kill active forwards. He killed a guy. I was like,
the traditional hate card for the Ice player. Solved, I said all time.
Just breaks anything. And if you can use his ability, you know they can't mess it up for you. Because
essentially
they have no cards in hand.
So and if they can,
if they have an onboard trick, you don't do it.
Exactly. You would see it. Yeah.
So he has an EX, but he doesn't actually have an EX.
Your opponent
it's just there to make it look cooler.
It's an EX burst against me.
But going back to this deck, he has Kasusa and Bard in his backup line. That Bard is actually the Bard that dulls the forward. Not the bad that makes your opponent discard
okay,
again.
yeah.
I've been really impressed with that bard.
I'm wondering if it is actually that bad in his deck, because I didn't see him playing any games, so I don't know.
Right. That may be a miss.
Yeah, if it is that, I can see it either way. If it is
definitely.
the discard bard from Opus 1, that bard you can use it in your opponent's turn, and you can also use Kasusa in your opponent's turn. That's 2 discards. So if they're top decking, and I was thinking, is that good enough to do just hoping to hit Sid Aulstynes EX? But normally people will attack before playing their things for main phase 2, right? Like they'll go, usually skip the main phase 1.
No, but that bard that discards you can't use on your opponent's turn.
You can.
You
can.
The one that discards 1 card, you can.
From Opus 1.
Oh, 1 card.
Yeah.
Oh, but not the 2 cards. Yeah.
So if they go to combat and then you use your Bard and your Kasusa to make them discard 2 cards, they don't get a turn. They don't get their main phase play. Of whatever it was. So even if you don't get a Sid Aulstyne EX, it's still a good play, I think. Having said that, I didn't put bards in my we can get to that later.
It is that bard though, because there's not that much dulling in this deck other than the Shivas.
Yes, that's another point. Like, so I can understand why it would be this bad as well, actually dulling one.
And in my experience, playing a similar deck with not as much dull, that bard is almost all the time just
relevant.
All you need. That's the only dull you need, because it's just there every time you need it.
How much does he cost to use?
It's one and dull. One ice and dull.
And then point breaks on.
And break him.
Yeah.
It's, if you think about it, it's a little expensive, but so versatile.
It's very expensive, but if it's like...
If it changes the game state, then it's worth it.
You're not just dulling a thing, you're capitalizing on it. And that just pushes it over the edge, especially in like activation wars. That's like that almost always makes sure you win those.
Right.
The other thing so that Light Terror. So I tried using Light Terror a lot when Opus 4 first came out, and I really wanted to keep her in the deck because I just thought it was so cool having, like, I'm in category 6, I've got my own light card, I can go find, and like
Zidane.
And you can S her, you can S her even.
Yeah, she S's to this Terror, that Terror S's to this Terror. But in the end, I just couldn't justify her in Ice, like mono Ice. And my reasoning came to be, I think she needs to find combat tricks. Or be able, not she has to, but she has to be able to find combat tricks with her special ability. So I ended up just cutting her for the Emperor again. I thought the Emperor was just better in way more situations.
Yeah.
But she's like the only thing I see her finding in this list really is a Zala, because Zala can be really, really important.
Yeah, it can be the blowout card, right?
Yeah, but I also think this deck is played quite differently to how I play Mono Ice.
Right.
So
how so?
I think this deck is quite more aggressive because it's
there's-
got 3 Serras.
Yeah. And ways to
yeah.
find only that Serra.
Yeah, it has the Mog 13-2, which I don't run, to find a Serra, which I don't run, and it doesn't have ghouls, which are very longish, proactive,
That's right, yeah.
protracted, game plan.
Still the
it's-
Renoas as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
still got Renoas,
Renoas
which
are a
are
push-through card.
Still run Sid for just a flan.
Yeah, the
Sid
Sid
Waff.
Waffs for the flans, because then you can make them discard 3 of the flans, Sid discard another one, Kasusa, that's 5.
Sid is,
Wow.
if you on your turn,
Yeah.
it's just better than the Opus 1 bard.
You were saying on at our LGS event this week, you did that to Gary, right? Or something like that to Gary?
Yeah, that's what I was killing the guy. It was the same
Yeah.
play. It came out from 4 cards to 0
Yeah.
because of the
Off of a Sid.
Sid Waff. And
And just flans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plans.
That is terrifying.
Yeah.
I don't want there to be another flan. This is bad enough. Because it can search any flan,
You
right?
just find a flan that just sits there and does this.
You
But that
mean I
Terra
think Kefka can destroy
Yeah.
so they can break my forward?
if that Terra's not finding Zalora,
Yeah.
it's removing an EX burst from your deck as well, which, I mean, sure, like using the 2-drop Shiva from hand is still like really good once it's got to a certain point. But
Yeah, he runs a 2-drop, so he can really search that one, yeah.
But it's also such a good EX, and I don't
No,
like
no,
removing EX bursts.
No, he's running the other 2-drop one.
He's one Opus 3 Shiva.
Oh, the Opus 3 Shiva.
Yeah, so he's
yeah.
finding that one as well.
Okay.
He's finding that one as well.
That,
yeah.
that changes
Another point of
everything.
So that's
Yeah.
to push through.
That changes everything.
Yeah,
okay.
it's very
That makes
aggressive
a lot more
because of
sense.
that 2-drop
I
Opus 3.
just misread that as the Shivas I'm running, the
Yeah,
Opus
yeah,
1
yeah.
and the Opus.
And
Okay, I don't need to ask him. I understand.
The other thing is where it's like Jill Nabat only one off. And I totally understand that.
Me too.
But like, 2 off is good. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's.
I don't think you even need one. Honestly, Sage probably is better. The Opus 4 Sage.
Oh, right.
EX burst.
That's true.
Like you need,
Yeah,
you want
yeah.
a certain
You want-
density
you-
of EX
yeah.
burst.
He-
Sid
he
Aulstyne
only-
doesn't
I-
EX burst.
That's true.
I think
He
it
only
comes
has
down
6
to
EX
the-
bursts, and that includes Sid Aulstyne.
Yeah.
So
I think-
he only has.
I think it
the
comes
Shiva
down to
version.
the difference. Like our intuition is that this is a more aggressive deck, whereas Chris, you play your mono ice very controlling. Like I've seen
Pretty slow.
many games wherein you're just sitting back, you haven't done anything to your opponent, and you've got 6 damage.
Yeah,
and then the game there's like this judo flip,
Yeah,
and the rest of the game your opponent's just in this hold and they can't do anything.
yeah.
That, I like that,
That
style.
happens.
Yeah.
It's good.
You wait for them to dig their own grave.
Well, and
Yeah.
that leads me to another point
You've
of
come
difference.
so good at using your spade for other things, though.
Yes.
Oh, no. No, wait. So wait, we're using his what, sir?
Using a spade for other things.
You know, instead of digging my own grave,
Ah,
I do
yeah.
something else with my spade.
Yeah.
He gets the pile of dirt with the spade and puts it in the hole.
Yeah, okay. No, it's
But
You're
that's
not
the
using
game.
earth against
No,
me.
that's Zidane. Like, just like Zidane is like a truck that just shoves all the dirt back in the hole. But God damn it, Zidane!
No problem.
Why?
The thing I was going to bring up is another point of difference between this deck and your deck is like if you look at the monsters, he only has the 3 flans,
Yeah.
and your list is much more controlling, and as such you rely in the late game at least a lot more on things like Ghoul.
Yeah. There's also a notable 2 of their Celis.
Oh,
at
yeah.
2 over 3. I found Runic to be really, really, really good.
That's right. The S ability.
Yeah.
Because
the
you set up a
special
lock, right? With a lock.
Yeah.
You set up a lock, but you also set up a lock with
Yeah.
the Emperor and Celis, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's almost airtight lock.
Yeah.
So it's, but then of course he doesn't run the Emperor, and Celis could easily just be there as a freezing. Running 2
think so.
Genesis, I completely agree with every ice deck I make has 2 Genesis.
Yeah.
Is I was saying earlier to you, right?
Genesis.
The ultimate ice staple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just
pretty
cannot
much.
remove Genesis,
Yeah.
no
Pretty
matter
much,
how hard
yeah.
you try.
Yeah.
That's because he's a cool 7 character.
Yes.
Yep,
And in
he's
Earth,
one of the
you
cool
can
ones.
in Earth you can search him, but you refuse to play Earth.
I don't need
Why
to
play
search
Earth
him.
when you can play Ice?
In fire, you can bring him back from the dead.
Yeah, you can.
You can do that in ice.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. But you can do that twice more with fire. But the other thing is we have to talk about. I mean, like I'm sure everybody knows by now, but we have to talk about probably the most staple efficiency engine in Opus 4, We're in Opus 4, yeah. Opus 4.
4.
Yeah,
The
We're-
6th engine.
the 6th engine,
Yeah.
which is with the Setzer, the Gestein Emperor Sid, and the Luck. And like,
That is like a
Funny.
template, I think, that
It's
they're
Yeah.
working
funny,
with.
funny
Yeah.
you mentioned that because recently I've been thinking.
of cutting it?
No, not of cutting.
Yeah.
But so I used to do that a lot when Opus 4 was fairly recent.
Yeah.
And I'd go into a backup into Sid or Setzer, find the other one into Lock, and then play that. It's really nice early play.
It's so consistent as well.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
very, very consistent. In the tournament just on Wednesday, the local tournament we had, I almost always search for Terror.
Oh
with-
yeah,
with
you
the
do.
final
You,
search
you
piece.
do that. You do that all the time.
Yeah, and it's been really good.
And sometimes you search this Sarah just so she can be in the break zone.
Yeah. She's a really good devout target.
Yeah.
I think if we go to my deck, because I'd like to start talking about
Sure. Yeah.
a reason why I found being more confident with my terrors now.
Your old one or new one?
My current one.
The current one, yeah.
Yeah, Aulstynes pudding.
Yeah,
Everything's
that's what it's
by
called.
Seeing
Excellent
Sid
name for
Aulstynes, the flans, nom nom nom. I put in that deck. Weirdly enough, inspired me to put in White Tiger Lassie Kunmi, even though it doesn't run White Tiger Lassie Kunmi. It makes your terror so much safer because I'm so butt clenched when I'm using her and I use Magic Charge. Like, please don't ruin this for me.
It's such a huge difference.
It's
getting it and
horrible,
not
yeah,
getting it,
We should explain for people who don't play a lot of
Right.
terrors. If you when you put a terror into play
And
and have her auto ability go on the stack, you there's a window that your opponent can abuse when you go to activate Magic Charge.
You have to decide to use Magic Charge before your opponent decides whether they're going to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're putting your eggs in this basket. You have to
Yeah.
fully commit to it because she'll either do 4,000 damage or 8,000 damage to do
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
forwards.
And it's a huge difference.
Yeah.
I mean, I've won games against terrors because I've been able to exploit that.
thwart
window.
that.
Yeah.
To thwart
You Brunhilded her against me, I think,
Yes,
one time.
yeah.
And I lost.
It worked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a blowout.
Yeah.
And when I remember making a fire ice deck that tried to utilize terrors as well, and it happened to me a couple times as well.
So Kunmi went in for that, but not just that reason. I think she's got a lot better.
I hate Kunmi.
It's
Because
a pain.
I used to run an Ice Lightning list, so I didn't
Yeah.
have Duke Lag. But now with Kunmi and Duke Lag, she's a 7,000 power first striker,
And
which
it's-
is very decent.
And it's a very good anti-aggro card because you
Yes,
can, like all those small
she's
guys.
often defending for me.
Yeah.
And Shiva exists now, the new Shiva. So she's a super good defender because they attack. You can Shiva it for not lethal and block with Kunmi and first
Make it
strike
lethal.
finishes it
Incremental
off.
points of damage.
And another thing is, with a heavy discard theme, you almost never will have enough resources to pay 3 for the Kunmi. So essentially, after a certain point, she just shuts off all your targets.
That's
So,
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
The heavy discard theme it is I think a difference between
It's not as
Tobi's
heavy,
deck and well, I'm only relying on the flans and I put in a Kazusa. That's all my discard.
Oh, and you've got Lock.
Lock.
Oh,
was
sorry,
also-
Lock.
and
Yeah, he was
Lock
already
and Genesis
there.
if they connect.
Lock and
Yeah.
Genesis,
Yeah.
they're
Which are
very,
very
very,
relevant.
relevant.
I would even suggest that you take down just one Jill Nabat. I know you love your expert, but thing 2 is enough, and other one could be another Opus 4 bard or even Kazusa as well.
I really do
Like
like
just,
the X a lot.
I mean, like just another extra discard because
I don't know that he
Like-
needs it. I think
You reckon?
Jill Nabat, I think, is because he's so controlling, right? Jill is a more valuable resource than making an opponent discard a card because he tends to just let his opponents build up forwards until he starts picking all of them off.
Like with I imagine as I said, I didn't see Tobi play his deck,
Terrible,
but I
yeah.
imagine that his discard comes more like little bits at a time,
Yeah,
apart from
like
flans, of
Sarah's
course.
and-
Yeah, Sarah, Lock, and
Yeah.
obviously hitting with the just the 3 Sarah and the Mog. I think changes it a lot. Whereas to me, Sarah, I always found to be quite unimpressive just as a forward once she's in play. I mean, with Duke Lag, she's actually just like Zidane. If you don't have a category 9 forward to reduce his cost. But I don't know, I never gelled with with that card for some reason. So in this version, I'm relying just on the flans. I mean, you only have to draw one flan.
Yeah.
And then you find all the other flans.
you can
And
even
then you
just
do it all the discard at once. So it's heavy discard in the sense that it just comes like a
It
brick.
bursts, and then it keeps you out of the game.
Yeah.
After it's bursted your cards down.
you've never found that when you needed the flan you didn't get it.
No.
I mean, essentially,
Because you're stalling until you get.
I hate it when they go
That's
to the damage zone, though.
yes.
The only
That-
thing you can't really control
Yeah.
unless there's a flan already in play.
I mean, I can try find my flans before. That
Yeah.
that is a bit of pressure on the deck. Is if I have a flan, I want to use
Yeah,
it as
to
soon
use it
as
as soon as
reasonably possible. To
no, the reason why
get them
I
out
asked
of my
was because
deck.
of Umaru. I mean, just as like a one-off, you know, just
No.
as a...
He's a nice
I don't like
EX
Umaru.
boss.
Yeah, just as like another one-off. Because
He's-
you can find
I
Ghoul
mean,
as well.
Like
I don't know where he would go in this
I
list.
don't.
That's
another
the-
problem this deck has is it searches a lot and just mills out. Sometimes it puts the onus on me to actually finish the game now.
Proactive, yeah.
Which is another thing. He's got Renoa.
Which
don't
is a good
have-
finisher.
I took out Renoa
And Kuja.
and I took out the Kudra I used to have.
Both decks don't have Kuja.
Yeah.
Actually.
Ah, okay.
It's really interesting.
And I don't have an Alpha Strike anymore. I also don't run Vayne.
Alpha was Alpha.
An Alpha Strike is when you can just attack for the win.
Oh, right,
Um,
right,
like
right.
you
You
get
can
rid
turn
of all
everything
resistance.
sideways.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you get rid of all resistance and just go for it. So in his deck he ran Vayne, also a really good ice.
Oh,
card.
yeah, you don't have Vayne.
So I don't have Vayne,
Wow,
Kuja,
yeah,
or
yeah,
Renoa.
yeah.
And my logic for this, it sounds crazy. I don't have them. But I don't feel like I need them. I feel like if I have Vayne, it's really good. If I have Renoa, unless she gets answered, there are quite a few good answers to her, but unless she gets answered, she's really good. And Kuja also, if he doesn't get answered, is really good. But I feel like if I don't need them, why not put in, like, have the room for these other things I put in, like Kunmi, like,
More defensive cards.
yeah, like, I've got Mecha Chocobo in here, which is,
Nakachoku was very good.
I love it. I think it is more of a relic of my old version, though, because I just had my old version, changed a few cards.
It's definitely performing less.
A reservation I have with this deck is I feel like now it might be pulling in a few. There's 3 distinct directions it's pulling in. It's got all the 6 synergies. It's got the Flans and Sid Aulstynes, and then the Mecha Chocobo.
just alone.
Usually with,
No, no,
it's got Ghoul and Genesis.
Ghoul.
But it's like, here's the thing, right? I have to start deciding often before I have enough information to decide which cards am I actually going to play and what's getting discarded to support the other cards.
Because you have to
So-
discard, like, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like of those 3 things, something has to go. It's probably the Mecha Chocobo, which I feel sad about.
Oh, I mean...
But it performs so admirably.
As much as I hate Kunmi, I really think, I mean, maybe just taking down to 1. I mean, if you really need that
if
extra
anything, I
space.
think I'd go to 3.
Yeah,
Really?
Kunmi's-
I think
I'm
No.
really happy with
Definitely,
Kunmi. I put her in over Kuja, basically.
Yeah.
Well, like, would you take Mecha Chocobo out for it?
Maybe. Like,
Mecha Chocobo's been so
Well,
good, though.
If the flex slots are Mecha Chocobo, and we were already, like, you've already said that you might want another Kunmi. So let's assume one of the Mecha
Well-
Chocobos has gone to Kunmi.
yeah,
think
if I make space, I can make
Kunmi
the other
is
things
fine,
more.
though, because you don't exactly want her like super early.
She's a good defender, especially with
I
Duke
guess.
Lag, right?
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah. So,
so-
against an aggro deck, you do
A lot of
want
the
to
Yeah.
be
early
very
stuff.
early.
And she's even a good defender against some big threats with Shiva.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like,
That's
she can quite effectively kill off some pretty threatening things.
13Ks, yeah.
It was really funny when my board was Mecha Chocobo and Kunmi, though.
Mm.
My Mecha
Kunmi is-
Chocobo's like, no.
Totally can't be touched.
Yeah. I really loved a board I had with White Tiger, let's see, Kunmi and Celis, representing Runic, her special ability, because it's like, you target my thing, you're going to pay 3 more for that? Fine, you must really want that summon. Runic.
Cancel that.
Yeah.
Summon.
Um,
And activate.
No, what's even worse about that, if, like, Celis, you can search for it. That's the thing about her S. Like if it was just a 3 of, sure, like, some games you might never see her, but if you're searching for it, you're going to get the S. you
I'm
know?
pretty sure they did this on purpose, but I would love for a Category 6 forward that just dulled a thing. Like, it doesn't even have to freeze it. If
Oh,
it just
yeah.
ETB dulled a thing. So many times, like, I wish I could find Genesis.
Well,
Yeah, that is
in the right
problem.
category, you can.
Well,
And in
yeah,
that
but
category, you can have Dadaluma and do the Dadaluma Terra combo.
or you could just draw into Genesis because you're a control deck.
Ah, true. True that.
Yeah, I mean, I do get Genesis enough. It's just when I have like a Sid coming down or
He's not- I mean,
Set
like,
Set,
I
I'm
mean,
like,
he's-
I wish I could just dollar for.
He's definitely a lot of value, but he's not core. He's not the core of your deck.
Yeah, but he's just so good you can't.
And he is good. No, I'm not saying to take it out. No. But I'm also saying it's not a good idea to increase it to 3.
No, absolutely. Genesis is not a 3.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's just not.
You could have a 1 of Kuja.
I'm like,
Because he fundamentally
I'm-
achieves the same goal as Mecha Chocobo.
so Greg, if you're listening,
Greg.
I'm not a fan
Listen
of
up, Greg.
except in specific situations. Kuja's like one-offiness in here is filling the Kuja role.
Yeah.
Like, whereas I'm okay with one-offs that, right, obviously like the Emperor because he's a dark card.
Yeah.
But one-offs that do more of something I'm already doing, because then they're not really one-offs. They're making something else more consistent. I guess you could argue that Kuja's dulling things, which turns
on
like
like
the
all your
ghouls and things.
Yeah, you do have a slight lack of dulling.
Like
It's a little bit.
The ghoul makes up for that in spades. I found.
Because and
actually,
persistent.
Actually, I want you to talk about why you chose the Opus 1 Shiva over the Opus 3 Shiva.
Oh, it's the EX first.
Yeah, is that it?
That's
come
why.
On. I thought you were going to talk about the
So-
turn cycles
so-
in terms of your inactivating that forward.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's not why I chose it though.
No, but that's relevant as
But-
well. Like
so-
the opportunity, like the
It's-
perfect time to use it.
I mean, that is an aspect of the card.
Yeah, but that applies to the Opus 4 Opus 3 Shiva.
No, but
Yeah.
that's different cycles. This is an extra cycle.
No, but that you get two things.
The cycle,
yeah,
the cycle we're
obviously.
referencing is if you use it in your opponent's turn, then the dull affects their turn and your turn, and in fact it's frozen in this Shiva means it affects their turn and your turn again. Whereas Opus 3-1, it
Just does it
affects
once.
it in their turn and your turn, and then they're back. But you get two things. When I saw the Opus 3 Shiva for the first time, I was like, hooray, because of Terror, dull two things and Terror, dull two things Zala. But similar to why Renault's not in the deck, I just don't need it.
Yeah.
No, it's a different
Especially
type of
since you're
deck,
not,
definitely, yeah.
Being aggressive, you don't need
Yeah,
it.
I was
Would you-
against a really scary standard units board that had lots of huge dudes. And at that point, I was starting to think maybe I should keep Renault in the deck.
Actually, even just the one of.
But
I think
It's-
Renoa could be
she's
a one-off.
she's a fine
candidate.
one of. But in the end, I won and I didn't need it anyway because I ended up alpha striking by ghouling on their turn, ghouling on my turn. And
Yeah, I remember,
after an attack.
I remember
So,
one board you had you
Shiva
Ghoul-
EX'd, that's right. Shiva EX'd. It EX'd. So then ghoul their turn, ghoul my turn. That was 3 dull things. How many forwards is Renoa dulling?
Yeah.
And
You've got 11 EX bursts. Well, 9 if we don't
yeah, I
include
don't
Sid
count
Aulstyne,
Sid
right?
Aulstyne. I don't have bad in my deck either to do the.
Yeah.
Nothing, yeah.
So
But
you've almost
Jill
got
might
like
be
a
a thing that
20%
would come off
chance at any point in time, right?
Yeah.
The thing is, if you think Kunmi is like a staple in your deck,
I really
right?
like.
So that's fine, you keep it. But that means that Mecha Chocobo Combi Trojan by summons is less relevant,
There's
and you
a
can't take it out.
redundancy.
Like But
But that doesn't make a Chocobo worse.
no, it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's a little hard. If
But
there was
I do
another,
think if there were to be a card, it would be Mega Chocobo.
there
Yeah,
any-
I'm
there-
so sad about that. But I
There aren't any 6 forwards you could be playing that you're not, right? Other than Umaro.
Kefka.
Yeah,
Kefka.
Amaro and Kefka.
Daduluma.
Which are all.
I meant
for
just
good
in
reason.
ice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Umaro, I no, like I don't like him.
No.
Like for 5 CP, I'm getting 9,000 power and killing a thing. Or I can pay 6 and then find a ghoul or
Find
a
a
flan.
flan.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't take up Mecha Chocobo's slot, and those are the maybes. right?
Umaru is a very aggressive card.
Oh yeah. No. You
I mean,
have to
like,
play
yeah.
him.
Just like wait for the X verse.
So,
Yeah.
So you'd say take out. I could cut a drill in a bad,
For a
and then that could be a
Kazusa.
bad. Oh,
Yeah,
no, I
yeah,
make it bad.
Yeah,
not
the
Kazusa.
Bard. I told you. I think
Yeah.
you should definitely do that.
sure.
Because remember you were saying that like 16 backups screwed you a little bit, right?
Wait, what?
Like in some
when
games?
when I
Yeah.
was playing against Jared at some point, I felt like I wasn't getting enough backups.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But then in the tournament that we had, I was
Yeah.
completely fine, and we had games afterwards where
Was
I
fine.
Yeah.
was completely
Yeah.
fine as well. So I might have, I just want to
Maybe it was
that
just
up to,
it was
bad
just luck.
variance.
That's,
Yeah.
yeah, that's fine. But yeah, I think two Joe Dama is good since because there's so many good backups now. And obviously the 2 summoner, 1-cost summoner is very good for ramping.
Shall we talk about strength of matchups?
Yeah. So what kind of matchups don't you like to play against.
I like the game. I like playing against it. But
What a hard
something
matchups.
I imagine to be really hard is the mono wind milling strategy, because I help them a lot. I haven't played that since I've got the Sid Aulstynes and Flans. However,
They have a lot of immunity.
They have a lot of immune to abilities. But I have, just with Kasusa now, and Sid Waff was always there. That's discard 5. That just removing their hand is probably good.
But like,
So-
if they're playing the Kenny Center anyway for free, you know, and you can't target it by Sid Aulstyne, you're gonna have to like party attack.
I can,
you know.
Yeah,
it's
party
a-
attack is really
that's how I
Yeah.
get around them. This is what I love about Lock existing, is because Genesis already existed. That party is, well, you're losing your forward or you're getting really punished.
At that point,
So-
they can just like Valor 4 and block and kill both you guys. I don't know.
Valor 4.
The Opus Standard started
No.
out.
They don't run that.
They don't
Yeah,
have
they
that.
probably don't.
No, they don't have Uno either. So,
That's I don't know. Some decks are pretty good.
They could. They could. But
Like,
that would be.
my outs become really strange against them. I need my Summon Shiva to dull something, to Zalora, for example. I haven't played it since Kunmi's been in the deck either. I mean, her first strike might be relevant, I'm not sure. The Emperor's really good against them.
Yeah.
And the other kind of decks is like kind of pretty aggro mid-rangey decks.
I love versing control.
Obviously,
That's
yeah,
really
yeah,
handy because discard and stuff, and killing things with value like Sid Aulstyne.
Yeah.
This, because of the aggro side, I think is why I've been searching for Terra so much now, because the deck has Zalora and Terra as the two big. Right, I've taken damage. Now let's do that judo flip.
Yeah.
And the butt clench of come on, Terra.
Is this going to work?
Is this going to work?
Which I suppose you've also kind of got with Zalora insofar as there are
Against
more
win
and more
matchups,
Yeah.
activate your forwards.
I have found Terra to be having 3 Terras and basically needing her S for her to be useful. I've been getting by with it okay. I might feel a bit more comfortable with 1 more Terra. I remember back before Opus 4 came out, I was always saying 4 is a good number. If you
Yeah,
want
it
to
is.
S.
It is, yeah.
So you put in the Hero Terra? Maybe?
I think if I cut the 2 Mecha Chocobos, I could
Would
put
you
in like a
be-
Kunmi and a Hero Terra, or
Would
Renoa and a
you
Hero
be
Terra.
brave enough to put on a light Terra?
Oh,
I would do.
That's
Yeah.
kind of cool.
I would say
Actually,
so.
no, it's funny you should mention that, because I was gonna say with Kasusa, I was saying to Kevin earlier, maybe I could play 2 of the Emperors,
Okay.
because Kasusa makes me discard as well.
Actually,
I really want you to try the Legendary
what?
Terra with Emperor.
So,
you know what?
but
Actually,
that is an option.
That is
Yeah.
one thing I just thought of now. Because
Yeah.
I kept on saying that Light Terra is best when she's in the break zone. And
Yeah,
you can
I
do
know
that
that's-
with Kazusa
that's
now.
true.
You can just discard her, and that's probably the best usage.
Yeah, because I can
you
devour
now have
her.
her effect on a backup, which
Yeah.
is the
But-
value.
I think, Chris, you should give that a try.
I'm gonna give that a try.
But yeah,
I think
it's
that's
just an
probably
experiment.
that might be one of the reasons why
Yeah.
running
But-
3 devouts. I mean, he's still only running 2, but
That's my list.
Oh, yeah,
No, he was.
He's
running 2?
Toby's
He's
running
running
2.
2. Yeah,
okay,
Toby's
yeah.
running 2. Now the
But
thing about
that is probably what his devouts are mostly used for.
the thing about like when you put Emperor on the board, he's not gonna stay there for long. People try to kill that thing pretty fast.
Well, no,
The reason he stays there for long is it's really hard to kill.
Yeah,
Because
Chris
Kunmi stopping the
makes it hard
summons
to
and
hit him.
Emperor's stopping.
the
I mean,
only things that can hit him at that point are auto abilities, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And you can also S the other Terra when you need to.
Yeah.
You can like S her and dull all your backups, kill like 2 things or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna try Terra.
Again.
1 Terra, 1 the Emperor. Thanks to Kasusa.
Oh.
I mean, I
Traditionally, when
was
you've done this,
I was gonna go to 2 of the Emperor, but yeah.
I think that's really cool.
It's basically the same as having to the Emperor anyway.
yeah, in terms of screwiness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. In terms of screwing you, except,
Yeah.
except this one is less so because you can S her when Terra's on the
Yeah,
And
field.
she's also searchable.
Something I'm worried about with any other Terra as well is if they're in play, they screw up this rare Terra.
Yeah.
Like, it's like
No, but then you
Well,
can just
play
S her.
at a different point, right? Like she fulfills a similar but different role. Similar insofar as she'll find you your Zalora if you need it, but otherwise she's not.
Yeah, I would.
fundamentally the same.
Yeah, if you are putting that Terra, you might need to change your summons a little bit.
I don't know.
No, I
I
don't
think
think
the
so.
the
No,
same
no.
summons. but-
It's only because the Zalor's already been surged or whatever, then he's taking an EX burst out of his deck, and that's not ideal essentially.
No, I don't want to like
I
the other
might
thing is I
add
don't
in
want
one
to.
of the
I don't
Opus
always want to find
Force,
Zalora. Like when I'm playing it.
Sorry,
'Cause
what?
when I'm playing
Yeah.
that Terra, I don't always want to find Zalora either, because it's like then I've got Zalora, which I need to keep for when I need it, and a proactive play, which I can't play because I don't want to discard Zalora.
Yeah.
So It's like, so then, I mean, I could find the Shivas, because they're good in the break zone, thanks to the Opus 4 Shiva,
Right.
but that's taking out the EX again.
I think
It's like,
I think what I'd consider doing is find some other empty slot and replace it with an Opus 3 Shiva. Just so you've got one in the deck. You could go find it then with
Yeah.
the Terror, which you can find with 5 of the cards in your deck.
That's true.
Although I still think the best use of the Light Terror is to be discarded with Kazusa.
if I have the Opus 3 Shiva, make
Just
a
the one
Chocobo is really good again.
Yeah.
No. This is the problem with deck building, right? I mean, I guess we kind of all go through this with our own little decks.
Only allowed 50 cards.
Yeah.
Well, we're probably going. A little
Yeah, yeah,
way
yeah.
down.
So I'll take. I don't want to take out.
It's fine. It's fine.
I'll
It's fine.
take
We
them out.
can.
I'll try out Light Terror.
Yeah.
I'll try out either Renoa or another Kunmi.
We
I'll take
can-
out a Jill Nabat for a bad and see
Yeah.
how good.
Yeah.
We'll update you guys on next podcast. So
Hopefully not, actually.
Hopefully not.
maybe we'll talk about a different deck.
Yeah, no, we'll definitely will. But this is was very interesting just because it was relevant. So yeah, thanks for listening, guys. I hope.
And thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Right? Yeah.
Hello.
They're no longer listeners.
Viewers.
Some of them were viewers. I mean,
Yeah,
we've
yeah.
been putting up YouTube videos. So.
Yeah. There's actually been quite a spectrum of when people listen to and people watch. Very different. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this episode 1 of season 2. Tell us if you like this kind of format. Tell us what we'd like to change.
We want to grow and adapt
Yeah.
with you guys. Right?
Yeah.
Provide
And
the
If you enjoy our
Remember to
content,
come up with the new cards.
yes, yeah, come
I
up with
really
new
wanna see
cards.
these. I think that's so cool.
Yeah, and
community
you know,
feedback.
yeah, we'll create our own little kind of like fake card, just like in Hearthstone, just like in Magic the Gathering, you know, and you know,
Maybe we
just
can
build
get
it up.
a neural network Final Fantasy together.
I'm sure somebody somewhere's working on it.
Really?
Probably.
Well, we'll have to
Maybe,
ask.
maybe.
I'd
We'll
love to
have
see
to
a
ask.
special ability.
Yeah. It's like
What if it mixes, Lightning, who doesn't have a special ability but has discard?
No,
and
no, no.
And it mixes them together.
No,
and you
no.
get like special ability, discard
No.
discard name as well. It's
Oh,
like the same, you got to discard 2 of the same
We
name.
already kind of have something like that
Yeah.
insofar as the
Odin and
original
Lightning.
Palom and Porons.
Oh,
yeah.
They're like S and then
Dollar
dollar effect.
thing.
No, it's
Other cost rather.
no, like when they're trying to get up names with the S abilities, it's gonna be like damage
Oh,
it.
yeah.
It's like damage it S.
Well,
Yeah.
Anyway, if,
I know, and it doesn't damage it. Like it turns back to the hand.
if,
It's like dollar broken forward.
Oh yeah.
That sounds like something that will happen, yeah.
if you're out there and you are working on this, let us know. We'd love to find out.
Yeah.
We'll put the stuff up.
Yeah, if you guys don't know, neural network is just kind of taking all the cards, text, and trying to make up new cards by this AI. Yeah, that's pretty much what the neural network is. But anyways, yeah, like our Facebook page, like our Twitter, where we actually put.
We have a Twitter now?
Yes, we have a Twitter now.
I'll
Yes.
have to follow us.
What is it?
At MogPod Gaming, and then the name is #1 Potato Boss.
And do we have an email address we can have people send these card ideas and things to?
I have to work that out.
We'll have one.
Yeah,
we'll probably
yeah.
post it up
Yeah.
on the Facebook page or on the
I do.
It'll be up on the Twitter and in the description, I guess.
I do have an email. It was the name of the previous before MogPod.
Well, no, we'll
just
figure
make
out
it-
something
Yeah,
else.
yeah.
We can just make
Well, we'll
it.
figure it out. Anyways, but yeah, so Facebook page is usually there for updates and getting the podcast early. Twitter is usually there for behind the scene pictures, behind the scene video, like kind of like teasers and everything. And yeah, and like, subscribe, comment, all that regular good stuff.
This episode is sponsored by... No, we're not quite there.
No.
Nobody cares enough about us to give us a sponsorship, but
If you're watching and you care.
Yeah, you care, yeah.
I mean, hey. Well, it's been fun.
Yes, yes. So everyone say bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Yeah.
Bye. Time for Tobi. Bye bye. Time for Tobi. Bye bye.
Oh God.
Oh my god. You just made it that much worse. No. Okay. #1 Potato Boss out.